Are you looking for something? Or someone?
No, I was... What was I doing?
How would I know?
Our first fight.
All right, here we are. Let me unmute the audio so you all can hear them as well. Is everyone here and made it into the intro? Let's see. Harley, let's see. Everyone say something so we know we're all here.
Send help.
I got a Harley.
I was still muted. I thought you were going to be on here first by yourself, so I was still muted.
Nope, you're all good. I just wanted to make sure that we're all here and made it through. We're making it through the jumps together.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get right now.
We can do the Kanaras. Everyone hold hands as we're going through this, because.
Okay, here we go. Grab a buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, your buddy can be used as a flotation device.
Yep. Welcome in, everyone. I'm so glad to see so many people from Kanara's community in here for our episode of The Golden Show. And I want to start off by saying a big thank you to Dana for recommending Kanara to be a guest on the show during season 1 when we were doing it. And I've been in Kanara's stream for, what do we say, 8 months now, something like that, where it's something like that, to where, you know, I'm there on a regular basis, so I know who Kanara is. So I knew when I asked her, she would probably say yes, so, because it's just the person that she is. She likes doing new things.
How can I say no?
Exactly. And
I mean, how do you say no to this face?
how do you say no to how do you say no to Elton John? That's the real question.
You can.
That would be the real thing. I don't think I could actually tell Elton no. I'd be like, whatever you need, I promise.
So
and you do it with a smile on your face.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and get started with intros. Harley, I'll let you start while I'm pulling up one more thing.
Introduce myself. Sorry, guys. Hi, friends. I'm Harley. I'm happy to be back for season 2. When I got into a conversation with Blair, and he's like, season 2. I'm like, yes, let's go. I'm so excited. I'm learning so much just in the couple of interviews that we've had. It's been great. So I am excited to be doing this.
And I am Golden Flare, the master of ceremonies for this big old shebang, and the one that all the chaos is going to happen today during the show, with all the games and things like that that we're doing. I've been working my tail off to put it all together. You can ask these two. When I started telling them what we were going to do, they're like, how did you do all of this? And I'm like, well, once I started, I couldn't stop. So,
They say they can barely hear me and Miss Harley.
okay, let's fix
I
that.
don't know how to do that.
How
I
about,
mean, I know how to do that, but to safety for my children, I won't stop screaming.
how's that? Are they any louder now?
Check 1 2 3. Check check check. 1 2 3.
Aw, she said it's the same.
No? No different?
Let's see. And my volume is at max in OBS, and I'm actually in the yellow on OBS. So I know
How
that's
about, how about now?
how about now? How about now? The Funk Soul Brother right about now.
There, okay.
There we go.
Fabulous.
Nice.
Fabulous. Okay. So, like I said, master of ceremonies of this. I am a variety streamer. I play all types of games. Really, everything from Fortnite to Repo to Split Fiction. I've been playing Legend of Zelda Wind Waker lately. Marvel Rivals. All kinds of games. Just all the variety that you can think of. And DBD. Although people don't play DBD with me anymore because I'm too ruthless of a killer. they've all
That game scares me.
they've all said well, we like playing with you sometimes until you have to play killer, and then it's not fun. So
Listen, the second you go Ghostface or you go Michael Myers, I know that I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like, I already know it. I know what's coming for me. At least I don't get Cash's clothes on me, because that's a whole different story.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, we should that's another thing we'll have to talk about. We'll probably talk about that later on when I'm doing my with gratitudes about people.
Right.
So, and then also Minecraft and things like that. We're currently in the middle of building a coastal city in Minecraft, so maybe one day I'll stream and show you all that soon. And then
I fell down a hole.
well, Kanara, if you wanted to get into a friendly server that people will help you if you fall into a hole, let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I fell into a hole. I couldn't get out, and I turned it off. I didn't rage quit. I thought I'll probably go back to this because I will say it seems like it could be a very relaxing game. So I thought, all right, I did build an underwater base, and it came out pretty good. Not my design.
If it tells you anything, we're
somebody
also
else's.
in the middle of building a giant cathedral too. That should tell you how.
And right there, Platinum was the one who came on because I couldn't figure out how to do anything. And Platinum was the one who came in my game and helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day I played and I fell down a hole.
That's why I don't play Minecraft. I end up dead more than any other game. And it's supposed to be peaceful.
I think I had enemies turned off.
Oh, you had it on the either adventure or peaceful mode.
Probably peaceful. That'd probably be my thing. Harley is 25% less than your volume. Kanar is about. Oh, I thought the volume was okay.
Well, we'll fix that.
We need to do who is what and where.
Harley's about 25 less than me, so I'll move her up to full, and
Oh boy.
and you up to full.
Just remember, be careful what y'all wish for.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Somebody's gonna have to tell
Better?
me where my tone is.
Better?
Voice check, voice check, voice check. Pokey
It's not
catch,
time
pokey
to catch
catch, pokey
Pokemon
catch.
Queen.
I
We
can
need
also
a yes or a no here.
I can also pull myself down a little bit. There we go.
Kanar is good. Kanar's okay for me. Okay, there you go.
Harley, they don't know about you. They don't know.
It's fine.
I don't know about me, so.
Well, I don't even have your sister having my back in here, so you know.
She's in the middle of
We're
playing
worried about
Pokemon right now.
Pokemon.
I just rely upon the kindness of others.
Uh-huh. And then, Kanara, if you want to do an intro for the people who are from Harley and my stream that don't know you.
So my name is Carla. I'm reading this over here. I came out with Carla because of Harley and Kanara. So there we go. I just did it right there.
Save friendship.
I'm primarily
We
a
already
food
have
and
a
drink
word.
streamer. Yeah. And now we're married. I'm a food and drink streamer primarily, and I am a home food safety and preservation specialist. And I'm trained and certified through Oregon State University and teach classes on food preservation, food safety, as well as emergency prep. And on Fridays, it's Feral Fridays, where we play games and we just have a good time. And we have channel points for me to read children's books. Like Nice Rack is the one that we have out right now. So come on over and say hi.
What was the
Be afraid.
What was the last one you did before? What was that?
Brenda's Beaver Needs a Barber.
Uh-huh.
And these books make me blush. Horrible.
Oh, I would die.
Oh, it's
You
great.
see a little friend in my background? Oh, this friend? This friendo?
Oh, I
think
think
we'll
she's
be-
talking
I-
about the
I
other
think we'll
one
be-
behind your shoulder. The fluffy, stuffed one.
The stuffed one.
This one back here. That's Blurp. Are you guys familiar with Blurp? Blurp is a third-party service that you can do sound files to. That's how, like, when people do walk-ons and like my subscribers can have walk-ons when they come onto the stream, it plays a song. Well, this is the company, and that's the mascot. That's Blurp. And they gave me Blurp at TwitchCon.
And Kanara has to have cocktails while reading.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm fine, thank you. He's offering to bring me snacks, and what does he come in? He comes in, he holds up an avocado, and he points at, he does this. I'm like, yeah, you can have that. He goes, no, you want this. I'm like, yeah, I just want half an avocado. Just bring it to me. Like, I love that man. I love that man.
I love the hand signal. You want this in your mouth.
All
right, so
it never stops here.
Let's go and get started with the Q&A since we've done some intros. So, Kanara, tell us about how long you've been streaming here on Twitch.
I just in January celebrated my 4 years on Twitch. I have been part of Twitch since 2016, so I've been around for quite a while. But I didn't stream. I just had it, and every now and then I would tune in. But I was over watching people on Mixer at the time, and then Mixer went bye, and I had to start finding all the people that I watched over on Mixer because they all migrated over to Twitch. And so I started watching things and enjoying it. And I was in a DJ's stream because they were doing like an 80s set. And we were talking, somebody asked, do you stream? And I said, no, I'm not even sure what I would stream based on what I'm good at, I guess. And they asked, and I told them cooking and food and whatnot. And they're like, oh, so what food and drink streamers do you watch here? And I went, what do you mean food and drink streamers? I thought it was just games, DJs, music. That's really all that at that time was mainly Twitch, although they had some of the other categories, but I didn't know they had a food and drink category. From that point on, I was like, And then COVID hit. And on March 13th or March 18th? Doesn't matter. We're quibbling over days here. We were all sent home. And I was like, I still have things to do. I still have things to teach. I found that I was able to get a wider audience. And I thought, if I'm on Twitch, then I can reach a lot more people than just being in small little individual communities or counties where I was doing these classes. And so I decided to go live on January 3rd, 2021. I watched a lot of food and drink streamers. Like, what did I like? I don't like that. I don't want to do that kind of content. And then I realized there's nobody out there doing my content. Let's try it. What the heck? And so I did. So we're still here, so it must be doing okay.
Yep.
Right.
Your turn.
See a need, fill a need right there. Thank you, Mel.
There's so many. So, like, I've noticed your emotes and your graphics. They're really great. Who makes them? Like, who makes your graphics and emotes?
Okay, so the emotes that I have, some have been made by me. Some have been made by community members, which holler to the artists out there. And Twitch, this is just a reminder to please stop using AI to create things. Okay, back to you in the studio. I've purchased some on Etsy. Etsy had some wonderful artists and stuff. And now that I know of the artist community that is here on Twitch, I have been commissioning some of them as well to say, hey, I need an emote that's like this. And, you know, I'd rather pay somebody here on Twitch that's a true artist and is out there trying to, you know, make ends meet and use their art. You know, why not? But there's it's like runs the gambit of things. Because when I first started, I had no idea what emotes were. You know, I was like, okay, I got to put some things in here, and then you find tools that help you do it. But still, it's not as nice as having somebody who knows how to get the details in an emote for you. So yeah.
Yeah, that's. And speaking of just things itself in regards to your stream, tell us about your mascot, because I know you have one.
I do have a mascot. This is my mascot. It won't show up unless I hold it because he'll disappear on my shirt. So I'll hold him in front of my face. This is Leo. This is Leonardo da Vinci. Now, what you can't see because of the screen is behind me is an aquarium where he normally lives. And so tune into the show. You'll see it on Fridays. Leonardo da Vinci started showing up on stream because I was obsessed with him. And I would just have him sitting out. Well, then he started hiding on stream. And he started playing hide and seek. Yeah, you. And they would have to find him. So what they would do, and this isn't, I didn't have like 100 people watching my stream at that time. So what they would have to do is if they found him, they couldn't put in the chat, oh, I found him, he's hiding behind this or he's hiding over there. They had to tell one of my mods. And my mods would post it in a channel, so-and-so found him here, so-and-so found him here. So, and then I would take all of those at the end of the month and I would put them all into a contest. So if you found them 3 times, your name was entered 3 times. If you found them once, your name was entered once. And then I'd mail them like a Leonardo da Vinci sticker. And we had a contest to name him. So we had all these names. We had like 23 people who had entered for the name. And then that got whittled down to 10. And then it got whittled down to 3. And Leonardo da Vinci is the one that won. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm. Where is Leo's right here? But I can't hold him in front of my shirt because he disappears. Oh, Where is Leo was a fun game. Yes.
Yeah.
That really was a fun game. And we'd hide him all over. He used to hide somewhere in the kitchen. We had to find him. Yep. Yep. And he hid all over the place. And there was times that nobody could find him, especially when I put him into the container that has all of my red silicone spoons, spatulas, and whatever. And he's red silicone. And sometimes it would be just his claw. And they would have to sit there and watch my stream. And this is where I knew they weren't paying attention to my stream. They weren't paying attention to any of my cooking thing because I know I'm going to use mobile. They're on there with their phones and they're doing, you know, making things bigger. You know, that I got to find Leo. Is he here? No. Is he here? No. What did she say about the proper temperature? Never mind. I'm looking for Leo. It was funny.
Welcome in. Let's see. How would you describe your Twitch community, Kanara?
God, trolls. Every single one of them, except for Claire. No, they are a mixed match of really fun people. They inspire me every day because they post their food pictures in there. They ask questions, which makes me think, and sometimes I go down a rabbit hole. They support me. They uplift me. There's been times when I've had a bad day and I still stream. And I always say, if I can't give 110%, I won't stream. But sometimes streaming on my bad days is what changes my outlook. It's because I get on there and they show up. And they show up and they ask questions or they're laughing amongst themselves. Because sometimes you look at chat, they're not talking to you. They're talking to each other because they've made friends with these people and they see them over in other chats and other streamers and stuff. And they are a gem. They are a gift that I can never say thank you enough for. These individuals right here are just fantastic. Yeah, Rexus is the biggest troll. Yeah, Jedi nerd. Jedi knows. Jedi's like, yeah, right. I can just see Jedi doing,
Go, talk to him. Talk to him.
Yeah, talk to him. Go talk to Rexus. He's the biggest troll.
That's great. So, with having this community, how did you help build this little community and make sure that the sense of belonging was felt in such a community?
All right. I do that just so I can get my throat coated in there because I can't use my allergy meds anymore. I have to switch them up. So I've got the sneezing thing going on. The biggest way you build your community at first is superficial, in that you network and you network and you network and you network. You're watching streams. You get to know their communities. You don't talk about being a streamer. That's bad form. But you get to know these people and they get to know you. And then one day somebody might ask, do you stream? And you'll say, yeah. And then you change the subject because it's not about you in that chat. It's about the streamer and their community, right? But then you're in a Discord and somebody will say, hey, I heard that you stream. Yeah, I do cooking streams. I don't over talk about it type stuff because to me that's not the time and place for it. But the biggest thing is superficial networking, just getting to know people so they know your name and they remember your name. Oh my gosh, that Kanara, she was talking about this and it made me so hungry, or was telling jokes and I was laughing or whatever. We had a really good conversation. So your name starts to, people see you as a productive member of a society, of a community. And then when you do decide to go live, in these same Discords are channels usually that you get to promote yourself. And so you get to post in there, hey, I'm going live. I'm going to be doing this. And everybody's like, oh, wait, you're streaming now? Yep, I'm streaming. And they start to trickle in. It's never going to be a flood. It's never going to be a flood. They start to trickle in. Now, I have a different viewpoint from things. One, because of my years of working in retail, in real estate. I was never a realtor type thing. And I wish I could have absorbed the technical stuff that I had to learn over there because I just lost that when I moved. But you start interacting with these individuals now on a one-to-one basis. You start talking to them in Discord. You're asking questions of them. They're asking questions of you. You start to learn. Somebody says, oh my gosh, I had a great day today. The interview for a new job went well. And now I'm excited. What new job? What did you interview for? Now you're having conversations with these people. I care about this community. I've had some people tell me more than I should, and I don't believe that for a second. But I know when people are sick and they don't feel good. I know when people are having a bad day. I know when they're having a great day. And I will uplift and cherish every single one of them until the day I can no longer stream, because they've done that for me. So that's the least I can do for them. As a viewer of Kanara and a fairly good cook myself, I enjoy being able to ask questions and learn different ways. Oh, I love that, Platinum. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, but this community is, I think it catches, I would like to think it does. I'd like to think that it catches a new streamer off guard. And the reason why is because you think, oh, I want to be a streamer. I want to have all these people following me, yada, yada, yada. And maybe they don't all get attached like I do. I become the mother hen. All right, children's, let's all gather together. I've got you all here. I just want to make sure everybody's good. Okay, good. And I'm tapping everybody on top of the head like a school teacher or something like that. Mm-hmm. But it catches you off guard when you realize that I've made friends with these people. We talk about personal matters. We talk about silly things. We talk about serious stuff. I'm very big on the art of conversation that I think we're lacking in society now. But they've all made an impact on my life just by showing up and saying hello and sharing of their time, because time is such a valuable commodity when they come in and hang out for, even 10 minutes. Some people are there the entire, 3 or 4 hours that I'm doing cooking streams and whatnot. That's huge. And I will always be grateful for that. And I hope they know that. I hope you guys know that. I'm looking at all of you right now.
That's also the good thing about when they follow you to things like this, because then you get to brag on them and you're like, see, I do care about you.
Right there. I know those people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heart your face.
So continue on the conversation with community. Who are some people in your community that you'd like to highlight or bring attention to that you think who do you think are just cool, or people that others should know?
As streamers or just as humans?
In general.
Overall.
First of all, I will tell you right now, shout out to every single mod that spends even 5 minutes on my channel dealing with my ineptness.
What? Oh no.
How do I do this? Where's this window at? I mean, the things that they have to put up with for me, that they do, that they give freely of their time and their experience and their expertise. Mod hype is an understatement. a huge understatement. I'm trying to think of a timer queen here. That's right. Athena's always my time. Athena always comes in and I'm like, okay, so we're going to cook this for 30 minutes and then we're going to flip it. And she goes, do you want me to start the timer for 30 minutes or do you want me to wait 10 minutes and then, I mean, she's like on point with that. I mean, and heaven forbid she can't be there because then I have to figure out how to use my phone. I have to figure out how to
terrifying part.
the terrifying phone thing. But I mean, every single one of my mods they're legends in and of their own right. And I think we all think of that with regards to our mods of what they do for us. They protect us, but they're not just there to protect the streamer. They protect the community as well. You know, we all talk about, the shield and the sword type thing, but they really do a lot above and beyond, of what, your time should be. They're out there just helping out and just giving. So yes, all my mods. Serious face.
So you have these, amazing mods, some killer graphics and emotes. But we also know that you have a team, Happy People, and you tell us about it.
I'm part of a lot of teams. I have my own team, which I haven't really done anything with, but I do have my own team called Undaunted. But Team Happy People, when Noimu started the Happy People team, it was a way to connect people with, I wrote this thing down too. Hang on. To help promote individuality and diversity and to be welcome and accepting of that. But they also deal a lot with helping people through mental crises by putting them in contact with professional help. Because, a lot of times people come to me and because one, I'm older and they want to unburden themselves. And I'm like, look, if you just want to get it out, I'm here for you. But if you're asking for my advice on how to handle this situation, a situation that I've never been through, I can't because I'm not trained. You need trained professional help that you deserve because everybody deserves that. Nobody should have to go through trauma, by themselves like that because you need to be able to talk to somebody, but somebody who can guide you on that path of how to talk it through. Maybe not necessarily find resolution, but accept that what has happened is done and is past or whatever. So they really have put a lot out there to make sure that people don't go through what they've experienced and what they've seen other people go through. So it's really and every person on there is so flipping talented. I don't know why they invited me because they've got musicians on there and artists on there that just blow my brain housing group. Just gone. They're incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's coming back, Platinum. I don't know when, but it's coming back.
What has been your greatest accomplishment on Twitch so far, in your opinion?
Go live. That really is. There's so many people who sit on the fence with that and think, I wonder if I should do it. I wonder if I should try it. Click the button. It's scary at first, and there may not be anybody in your stream at first, but do it. I am not afraid to speak in public. I've taught classes. The most I've talked to is to 1,000 people at once, and it doesn't faze me. But I know there's some people out there that are intimidated by that. So just remember, you're talking to a camera. You're talking to a chat thing there. You don't have to make eye contact with anybody. You're talking to the camera. That's all you do. And I know it sounds like, that's all you have to do, but it's like, just try it. Just do it. I think it's one of those things that's exhilarating and fun. And the second biggest thing was this community and other streamers who brought their communities over to help when I started to do my partner push. That was a really big thing. I have got to give one big shout out to Ice Cream Posse because Ice Cream Posse was a streamer. He runs an ice cream shop in Massachusetts. And so he goes live when he opens the ice cream shop and he's done when he ends it. But what he would do is, and he always has like 100 to 200 people in his stream all the time. There's shenanigans going on over there, I will tell you. But what he would do is in the middle of his stream, after I was live for about an hour, he would raid out and bring everybody over to my channel. He'd tell everybody, I want you all to sit there. And then he wouldn't go back live for another hour to 2 hours so that they would stay there and then he'd go back live. And yes, some of them probably went back over there. They toggle. We all have like several streams open at once.
Mhm.
But he did that, I would say, at least once or twice a week when I was live to help me get to that point where I had the numbers to apply for the partner application, because you have to have like 75 viewers. It's really 100 or more. But he did that of his own accord to help me out. And I will always give that man credit for it. Bye, Platinum.
That's amazing.
He was incredible. He still is. He is the nicest guy. He will give you the shirt off his back. And he's funny as heck. And I just adore that man. He really helped. And he helped, help boost the entire channel by doing that. Because although I think I'm the longest person on record for waiting for their partner check mark. Because I applied in May. And it was on day 79 that I found out that I'd gotten it. I waited almost 3 months. I made the mistake of applying 2 weeks before the EU TwitchCon started, so there was no staff.
They were a little preoccupied.
I was so excited. I just hit that button and just did. I should have waited, but then it would have been even longer then, because I would have applied after they got back, and I don't know, but it worked out well and it was fine.
Also, Claire, thank you for the 200 biddies.
Thank you, Claire, for doing that.
And also,
nice
and also,
that sack.
I was gonna say, and also, you're welcome for blessing your eyes for giving the bits.
I heard that. I was like, oh, I know shenanigans, and I look over and I'm like, oh, yep, I was right.
Yep.
So you've
we have some technical.
Go ahead.
Technical difficulties.
Are you looking for something?
Flip it.
Or
Flip it.
someone?
No, I was.
What's worse is they can't see the whole thing that we
Oh, was I
can.
going?
Nope.
They
How would I know?
They don't see
Oh, first fight.
anything.
Oh, that's right, because you guys see it through there. So
Yeah.
we see in 3 individual things, and his entire green screen just kind of like fell down on top of his head, which was funny as heck. Why, you know what? We need to be able to clip in the back room. Oh, I'm going to
Right?
Behind the scenes faux pas.
You can't see the shenanigans, chat. That's why. That's also why. Now you know why I have the background removed, is so you can't see anything. But before we get to the next question, ads are about to roll, so I'm gonna go ahead and do those, which are gonna happen.
Okay, everybody, go get a drink, go get a snack.
50 seconds. Yeah, get your snack. Do what you need to do. If you all
Go
want
potty.
to take a break for about, it's probably going to be about 3 minutes. If Harley and Kanara, if you want to do that real quick, I'm going to hit my BRB screen and we can all take a break and come back.
All right, guys, we'll see you back in 3 minutes. 3. Oh,
So much for that.
Just kidding.
I'm
Psych.
screaming.
psych. If you have ads ready right now, we're so sorry. I should have said it.
Ads.
Well, for those of you who came in from
Are you
Vantage
looking for
Raid-
something?
Hi.
Or someone?
No, I was. What was I doing?
How would I know?
Our first fight.
We like friendos.
Yes.
We like.
All the
Is it me?
friendos.
I hear nothing.
You should hear everything.
It's you, Mega. Dana said the same thing as I did. Turn it up.
Anyways,
Turn
hi.
it up.
Hi, Raiders. For those of you who have come in who don't know who I am Golden Flare. I am the Master of Ceremonies of the Golden Show, but also just the Golden Flare channel in general. I'm a variety streamer. I play everything under the sun, basically. If it looks fun, I probably have tried to play it at some point. And I'll let my co-host introduce herself.
Hi all, I'm MissHarleyB. Don't stream as much as I used to, but I still do horror streams. I love all things horror. I'm very happy to be doing that. I also do things like Fortnite.
I
And
told
video
you.
games with
What did I
friends when
tell
get
you?
the
Didn't
chance.
I tell you? Cause I
Besides a Twitch
told you.
streamer, I am an avid
And
book
when
lover
did I
and
tell you?
horror
A
and
long
movie
time
fan.
ago. And what did I
So
say
if
will
you have
happen when I
general
told you?
knowledge of
Exactly
things
what
about
just
horror,
happened.
I'm the person you can go to. But other than that, this is the second season with Claire and the Golden Show. I'm so happy we get the opportunity to do season 2. And I'm so excited to meet all of these new people and learn all of these great new things with them.
And then for those of you who are in Dana's community, you probably know Kanara, but if she wants to introduce
Hi.
herself.
They all know who I am.
Yeah. But we actually, because ads are running real quick, we're going to take a quick, like, minute break just to go grab something real quick. And Dana says, who? Never seen her.
Kanara who? I've never seen her before.
No.
Be sure to drop a follow.
Yeah. But we're gonna do a real quick break just to go grab a little snack or something real quick because
That's because I pay you, Mega.
Yeah. And then we will
I pay you to say that.
We will be right back. All right, so we're gonna do our BRB screen. 90 seconds. We'll be right back.
Flair, check messages. I don't know.
Ta-da!
Do that. Oh, look, now I got a mushroom in my hand all of a sudden. How'd y'all do that?
Wait, what?
No, man. Look, you did it and I got this purple thing. Do it again. That was cool. I think when you do it, it makes it drops an item.
Huh?
Do it again. What's happening here? All right, now I want to shoot you. Look, now I got the splash. Look, it gave this to me.
Are you making that up? Ain't no way.
Yeah, I can't believe you know that shit. I enjoy that more than you.
Spinach and the parm and the mozzarella all layered together.
Oh, I'm sweating. Yeah, keep going. Almost there.
I'm gonna let this keep playing and then I'm gonna come back.
And then you put it together and it's hot. Oh,
I
yeah!
have a really weird snack. So
Acid reflux.
I have a snack that probably most people wouldn't eat.
All right, we are back. Welcome
sure?
back. Yep, welcome back in, everybody. They can see me. I can see them.
I'm gonna watch that green screen fall again.
No, you ain't.
One can hope.
No, you ain't. Nope, not again. It happened once. And it only happened once.
We're at Braidwood on Twitch or in Discord.
What's happening?
Oh, they sent me a message. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. I just got that. I will check my calendar. I will check that.
All right, and we're back.
Okay, wait. What did you get for a snack, Flair?
An apple.
Harley?
I sat here. I just have water.
I have some cold asparagus.
Oh,
Okay.
Kanara, you have no idea how much I love asparagus. So much. It is the one vegetable that I will put in my freezer to have with me at all times because I don't know when I'm going to use it.
Oh, it's so good. And it is also, for those that don't know, by etiquette, it is the only vegetable that is permissible for you to eat with your fingers.
Ooh.
Kung Pao, what?
Did anybody? I wouldn't say. Does anybody? Does anybody have any yummy snacks? But I don't know if anybody could top Dana and Drink More Cook Less's snack.
Yeah, I want that. Just give me a big bowl.
So, Kanara, your next question in this, and then we're about 2 questions away from ending this part of the category, and then we'll move on to day-to-day life. If
Tiramisu.
Oh, I need that. That's what I need.
Why I oughta.
If different from your greatest accomplishment of starting stream, what would you say is your most proudest moment on stream?
Wow. Oh. My most proudest moment was okay. I will say it was not just my proudness of it, because I think the community was the biggest part of it. Was when I did find out that I made partner. I had just ended stream. I had done like a 5-hour stream because it was a long cooking segment. I went over, because we cleaned the kitchen, put all the food away, went over, sat down. I was like, oh, okay. So I open up and I catch up on emails. I open up Discord, catch up on there, and, people who've come in and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at the email and I was like, wait, what? Wait, okay. I was tired. I'm like, okay, does that say thank you, but no? Or did that say thank you, but yay? And so I looked over at him. I said, I need you to read this. And he looks over at me like, yeah, he's reading through it. And I just start crying. I just start crying. And I posted it in the Discord that it had happened. And Chef Nagan was the one who said, you need to go live. You need to go live right now. Go live, go live, go live. And I'm like, I just got off stream. But I did. I went back live. And the outpouring of support was like a freaking tidal wave. And I'm not talking monetary support. I'm talking about the people who came over to congratulate. And I always tell people, when they congratulate me, they're congratulating all these people as well, because they're the ones who did it. A streamer can't do anything on their own without the community. There's just no way. You just be a born individual person streaming to 0 viewers and nothing else. And I for the next 2 hours, I blubbered like you see these TikToks. I don't know if they call them tickies or talkies or whatever. I don't know what the right thing is when you see these kids who see their idol of maybe Winnie the Pooh or, and they just start to cry, and because they're just so overwhelmed with happiness and joy. That's what I felt. That's the best way I can describe it. But it was that moment.
It's also really awesome because I don't know a ton of streamers who've made partner, but the fact that you hit the live button and did the reaction and had that joy with your community.
It was palatable. Yeah. It was palatable. I slept very good that night.
I could imagine.
Oh, because when I went live, he came over and he put a martini down in front of me. And it was like, I'm gonna
Actually, just keep the whole container with me. It's fine.
Yeah, all my bottles are like the 1.75. I don't do 750 bottles.
Just put it. Just put it in the giant, like the Kool-Aid
Stanley
containers.
cup.
Yeah. Well, I would say the Kool-Aid containers, and just sit it next to me, and I'll just pour when I'm ready.
Oh, honey, you don't even bother pouring right that. It's called a crazy straw.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! And then speaking of your community and how and how happy your community is and how they thrive. You've done community challenges to do things to, bring your, community in a little bit better. What's been your favorite community challenges, and why were those particular ones your favorite?
The books. The books. I mean, we started off with Dee's Big Nuts. And I think it's because it brings out a side of me that they don't normally see. Because when I go on stream, two things happen. One, I don't swear. I'm a PG-13 streamer. I don't cuss on stream. I never have. I never will. It does not mean I don't. Let me be quite clear. It does not mean I don't. But I go into teaching mode. And so instantly the professionalism, kicks in and whatever. But I'm allowed to have a good time and I'm allowed to have fun. But again, I'm a PG-13 streamer. So they start to see a side of me that they don't normally get to see when we have these Feral Friday events. And that's what we call it, as Feral Friday, when I read these books, when the challenges are met. And making Kanara blush is fun. Oh, there are times, the one that was the hand job for the whole family. That was the one I just kept burying my face in the book. Like, I cannot read these words.
I mean,
was like,
you could just keep the book in front of your face so you can't look at the camera.
oh no, they get hostile if I do that. They get hostile. One of them will show up and say, you know what, I'm taking the book and I'm going to hold it out here because we're going to watch your face while you read this. So, yeah, but those have been. We're going to take notes. Be like, what, the cue cards?
Yep.
Okay, Kanara, read this one.
Yep.
Your page now.
Yeah, those, but they're fun. They allow me to kind of kick up my heels a bit that I don't normally do, during my regular stream. So yeah, they're kind of fun. That's right. Dee's Big Nuts. Somebody says, I wonder what it would sound like if this was read by Julia Child. So I read the book again as Julia Child.
Well, now I have to hear the Julia Child impression.
The Julia Child impression. So what we're going to do today is we're going to sit here because we're having a lovely interview. We're not necessarily cooking because, not doing all the food things have to be done in the kitchen. There's lots of research involved. There's lots of questions that have to be asked and things that have to be tested. And this is where things become quite interesting. You can go down a lovely rabbit hole, but it's always going to be delicious. It's always going to be tasty and bon appetit.
That is absolutely terrific. Actually, I'm just gonna call you one day and ask you to read me all my Alice in Wonderland books in that voice. That sounds like a ton of fun.
Okay, that could be kind. I think Alice in Wonderland is public domain, so I think you could. I think Lewis and Carroll's works are public domain now.
Yeah.
Unless Disney owns them. I don't know. Disney might own them.
That might
we
be
know how they are.
There's a mouse. Okay.
I'll let you ask this one, since this one's one that you added to the question list from the day-to-day section.
Okay.
Kanara breaking laws.
Holidays are a really big thing, and with
Yes.
Memorial Day and summer coming up and all of these other things, there's got to be gatherings that you go to, and somebody has a request of a certain dish of yours. Is there a certain dish around events that people request that you make?
It's not around events, but it was always at potlucks. Like when I was working in the corporate world, or when I was doing things here with the Master Gardeners and the Master Food Preservers, it is a cheap dish to make, but it has such good flavor and everybody loves it. And my version is lactose free. So there's always that. But it's a noodle dish and it's served warm and you bake it. It's just egg noodles, and you buy a bag of your favorite, mixed frozen veggies. That goes in there. Throw in some rotisserie chicken. You're going to add in some mayo, some sour cream, some cream cheese, a healthy glug of mustard is going to go inside there as well. Salt and pepper, a little bit of paprika, and you bake that sucker off. It is fantastic. He requests it all the time. But it's one of those comfort meals. It's just a quick go-to meal. I don't like super fancy stuff at potlucks. If it gets fancy and you have to do a lot of stuff to it, it's going to be ruined. The first person that takes something out of that, all that work you did is ruined. So make it just a good comfort dish that they can stab a giant spoon into and enjoy it. Is that on DoorDash? I wish I could. It also is one of the best freezer meals you'll ever make.
Oh, I bet because you could just like have it all covered up, put it
You
in
have
the
it for
freezer,
dinner,
go
and then you
out,
scoop
bake
out the
it.
rest in there. Yep, and then boom,
Oh,
you've got
that's
dinner.
terrific. That's terrific.
Kanara, I know this question made you laugh when you saw it on the list. So, Kanara, what does your typical day look like?
I don't know why I find this so funny. So, for those that don't know, I live in a very rural area of Oregon. So, there's a lot of chores to do when you live on a. I live on a ranch property, but it's not a working ranch. I don't have like horses and lambs and or sheeps. And by the way, if it's one, I still say it's Shep. I'm gonna die on that hill. And I my neighbors have sheep. My other neighbors have cattle. I've been involved in all of their things from one form or another. But really, it's I do a lot of research during the day. I think my biggest part of my day is probably taken up by research. And but I get up, I have coffee, I have breakfast, and I have probably the same boring thing, pretty much for breakfast every day. It's one of two things. And that's not real exciting. But then in the summertime, we can't mow. I have 7.5 acres that I care for, and I do the mowing, and I mow about every 2 weeks. But we can't mow from about mid-September until about mid-May because it's raining and it's cold or it's snow, and then summer hits and the sun comes out and the grass says, "Yeah, we're like right here. Oh, we just got 8 hours of sun. We're now 2 feet tall." And so I get out there and I do all the mowing, all that kind of stuff. If we have to get wood, and we'll bring in a splitter and we'll get the shed filled up with wood for winter times. Although our last winters have been kind of warm, so we've only had like a few fires. We don't have to worry about that. But then it's spent doing a lot of research or recipe testing. I've tested a lot of different recipes. They're not in here; they're in the other room. I have old recipe boxes that were one's my mother's, one was mine from when I was young and early married. Two are his mom's, two are his grandmother's. One of them is his grandmother's, and that was the one that was started in 1910. So I've got recipes that go clear back to 1910, and I experiment with them. I cook them up and see, do they hold up? Now the measurements are different because I'll say one egg of lard. And a lot of people are like, what is a one egg of lard? Well, you scoop the lard out and you keep pulling it with a spoon to where it rolls on itself, and it's about the size of an egg. That's how much you're going to put into the pan because you're cooking, whatever. So you have to learn to read the recipes a little bit different. And they go by their can sizes, where a number 8 can, a number 12 can, whereas today we say, oh, a 14.5 ounce can of crushed tomatoes or something like that. So that's where my research goes into. Is I've pondered taking these recipes and posting the original recipe and then rewriting it for today and doing a cookbook of just the old brings life to the new type of thing.
That would actually something I would buy automatically. Just throw money at it.
I'll make you an editor.
Oh, thanks. I love advanced reads. It's fine. I'll take it. So while we're into the topic of you cooking, you cook all different kinds of food.
Yeah.
What favorite style of food do you enjoy cooking the most?
Well, there's a difference between style and ethnicity. So if I had to say style, I love to grill. I will grill an entire dinner, appetizer, main course, side. I grill a salad, a tossed green salad. I'll put on the grill, and dessert on the grill. That's a summertime go-to. Matter of fact, I just took chicken out of the freezer. That's gonna be tomorrow. And style would probably be grilling. Don't get me wrong. I love fried foods. They don't like me as much, so I can't do that as often. If it was ethnicity, I am obsessed. Texas Cryptid knows. I am obsessed with Korean food. And that's because of a streamer here on Twitch. I had no idea about Korean food until I watched this streamer, and he doesn't stream anymore, but he inspired me. I watched one, I tuned in his first day. He's cooking this weird method of cooking a steak. I was like, what's this? And I'm asking questions and I'm learning and all this kind of stuff. The next day, I had to go do my grocery shopping. I only go grocery shopping. I only go to the store into town one day a week because it's a drive. It's a 30-minute drive there, a 30-minute drive home. And I went and bought all the ingredients, and I followed everything because there's no real recipe for it up online. But I went back to a stream and watched the VOD and wrote everything down. And I was like, what madness of goodness is this? And I was hooked ever since. And I've been trying every Korean recipe. Every time I go down and see my daughter, she lives in LA, I make her take me to this Korean place, and we order different things, and I try them all. I'm obsessed, absolutely obsessed. You're lucky, Mel. You got introduced to it around 6 or 7. Oh, I'm jelly. I'm jelly.
All right, so that will conclude our first half of the interview questions. Now it's time for the game.
Oh, God.
And I know Kanara is like, oh, I don't want to do this so bad. It's going to be fun. For those of you
I'm going to go AF. How long is this going to take? How long is the game? How long do you think the game is?
How much time did you allot to this shenanigan?
Yeah.
30 minutes, but it won't be that long.
Oh! I'm going to be AFK for about 30 minutes. I'll be right back.
But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our brand new game that we started for season 2 called Name That Musical.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea what is happening. I am very afraid.
So, for those of you who are watching at home, you can also play along too, but do not write in chat your answers because they'll be able to see your chat, and then that'll ruin the fun.
Why? It'll help us. We can hit the buzzer then.
Serious, guys, don't put the answer in chat. My DMs are open. My DMs are open.
I have Discord up for anyone who wants to help me.
Rigged. I'll text you. Thank you, Dana.
So, what we'll do? So the way that this goes is I have a spinning wheel of a list of 41 different musicals that could possibly be selected for this game.
I know 2 musicals.
We're gonna spin them around, and whatever it lands on, I will read out the lyrics to that song that is related to that musical. And they will
you have to sing the lyrics. I'm
not singing some of these because I don't have the voice for some of them. So I'll read them out. I'll give them. It says 10 seconds, but I'll give them longer if they need it. But we'll let them sit for a minute and think about it. And the first person to buzz in, and they do have buzzers because we did get that technology.
We have the technology.
Yes.
We have buzzers. I was gonna get out. I have a cowbell.
Yep. So we have.
I have a cowbell.
We have buzzers, so we'll let them buzz in and let them answer. So if they get the musical correct, they get 5 points. If they can also name the name of the song, they get 1 point. And if they get it incorrect, they lose a point. And you all can see on the screen the little scoreboard that's on there, so you'll be able to keep track online and all that stuff. But keep track, because once we're done with this at the end, I want to know how many of these musicals people actually knew. So.
Absolutely 0. For me.
Not a 1.
And the reason why I'm not doing this and I didn't let Harley be the host is because I know all these musicals and stuff, and it would have not been fair.
Low score.
It would have not been fair.
I haven't seen Wicked. I haven't seen
these.
Well, okay, I have the 2 musicals, Rocky Horror Picture Show, because I watched that every year.
Mm-hmm.
Love that one, right?
Yeah.
Mame with Rosalind Russell. I love Lucille Ball, don't get me wrong, but she did not do well in that role. But Rosalind Russell and Mame. The Music Man, and that's his favorite musical, but that's not the reason why and I think I remember one song in West Side Story.
You may be shocked. Some of these it may come back to you when you hear them because some of these are very, very popular songs for most of these. So you may hear it and you go, I know the name of this, but I don't know the musical. And you can still get points. If you know the name of the musical, you can still get points for it.
Dirty little liar.
Follow-up question. So
Yes.
if one person gets the musical correct, what if the other one knows the song? Then can they chime in and be like, oh yeah, that's that?
If they do, if the person who chimed
chime
in
in
first,
all you want.
If the person that chimes in first doesn't say the name of the musical, then yes, you can get a point for knowing the name of the song.
Dana, my phone's turned on.
Are we
Hang
ready?
on, I'm opening up my chat message. No, let me get my messages open. Okay, now I'm ready.
All right, here we go. The first song, or the first musical that will be selected for the game is... Okay.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh no!
We're gonna pretend like that did not happen. Just so she has a fair shot. All right, so the first one is the lyrics. You're so hot, teasing me. You're so blue, but I can't take a chance on a kid like you. It's something I couldn't do. Again.
Is the musical in the room with us? I thought you were gonna
Wait,
play the
wait.
songs.
No.
Can you repeat those lyrics again?
You're so hot.
She's on the Googles. Rigged. She's on the Googles.
You're so hot, teasing me. You're so blue, but I can't take a chance on a kid like you. That's something I couldn't do.
Okay, so I can't take a chance on a kid like you.
The last like 6 letters or the 6 words I can hear in my head. I can hear it.
I can sing you part of this one because I do know this one. Well, I can dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny.
Oh.
Yes, Harley.
Oh, Mamma Mia.
Yes.
Hold on. Oh my God, I know who sings it. Oh my God, it's the chick from the freaking Grinch.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen Mamma Mia either. I need a list
Hold
of all
on.
these musicals so I can go look it up.
Oh. Does your mother know what you do?
Does your mother know that is correct?
Yes.
I would like to point out for the panel of judges that she didn't hit her buzzer.
Oh, she did. I heard it.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
Rigged.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it. That's how I know.
Oh, I know the song Mamma Mia. There you go again.
But I was like,
Mamma.
I can see
Rigged.
this scene. I've watched it so many times.
Okay, so now I have to watch Mamma Mia. Okay, hang on. I gotta make a list. Are
God,
you gonna send me these movies?
Come
Yeah,
on,
yes,
Meryl
yes.
Streep,
Okay.
amazing.
I don't know. I live a very sheltered life.
Right.
I've never left my house.
That song's gonna be stuck in my head now.
This is also the earworm once it starts. Okay, the next one. Oh yeah. Otherwise, you can't do what you need to. There.
Yeah, I need.
Thanks.
All right, the next one. I gotta find it on this.
I want to go to the restaurant that is in Stockholm, Sweden. That is the restaurant that is based on all the ABBA music. And there's a sound that plays, and all the waiters, all the staff, everybody has to stop, and they all start to sing the songs, and they all have to do the motions. I want to go there so bad. I'm so mad I didn't get to go there when I visited. I visited Sweden in 2016, but we were like 4 hours away from Stockholm. I'm like, dang it. It's very sad.
All right, song number 2.
I'm watching my phone.
Every
And now
man,
I'm singing that song, Dana.
every man has his daydreams. Every man has his goals. People like the dream of sticking to the soul. Thunderclouds have their lightning. Nightingales have their songs. And don't you see, I want my life to be something more than long.
I
Meanwhile-
told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I
I'm sorry,
tell
can you
you?
give
'Cause
that
I
to me in a
told you.
song, please?
And when did I tell you? A long time
You have
ago.
ads
And what did I
starting
say
according
what
to
happened
Siri.
when I told you?
Yes.
Exactly what just happened.
Yes.
Can I phone in a
ads.
musical?
If you don't know it, we can skip it and move on to the next one because
I know. I just want to hear it in song form. Do you know if I'm gonna get it in song form?
Yes.
Just give her the point. I told you I'm going for 0. Remember I said that when the question was asked, I was going to wait
But-
a full 100, count to 100.
But here's the thing. I need you to ring in because also if you get it wrong, you're minus a point.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
I have
actually
no
be in
idea.
the negatives.
Every man has his daydreams. Every man has his goals. People like the dream of sticking to the soul. Thunderclouds have their lightning. Nightingales have their song. And don't you see, I want my life to be something more than wrong. Eagles belong where they can travel. Eagles
Pocahontas.
belong where they can fly.
I wished it was. I would have known it in 10 seconds.
I don't do musicals. I have no idea.
Well.
What decade are we in? Are we in like Sound of Music era?
I like how you called that an era.
A little later, but since you two haven't got it, we'll do the next one.
Awesome.
Well, tell us what that one was.
That was Corner of the Sky from Pippin.
Wouldn't have ever been.
What's a
able to
Pippin?
Yes, Pippin.
What's
Pippin.
a
I'm
Pippin?
thinking Scottie Pippen of the Chicago Bulls.
I'm thinking. What was the girl? I am Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi
if you say it
Longstocking,
fast.
yes.
That's what I was. When you said Pippin, I thought, is that Pippi? That's the only
They
Pippi.
used to call me that in elementary school when I would have braids in my hair because my hair
Pippi
is naturally red.
Longstocking. Pippi
Yeah.
Longstocking. She was cool. We need more kids like her.
I got Pippi Longstocking. I got Annie a couple times.
Lord of the Ring. Pippin, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Mary and Pippin. Ah,
I
yes.
have no idea. I don't know.
All
I'm
right.
so bad at
exactly.
these. I'm a
I know
horrible
the Lord of the
contestant.
Rings.
Here's the next one. Kanara, you probably know this one just from in general. So when
I
the
love
cat
the faith you have in me.
So when the cat's got your tongue, there's no need to dismay. Just summon up this word, and then you got a lot to say. And better use it carefully, or it may change your life.
Oh, I know this. I know this. Oh my.
I have no idea.
I said it-
Evidently,
I
I
s-
live
I
under
s-
a rock.
I said it to me girl, and now me girl's me wife.
I said it to me, girl, and now me girls.
Let me say it one more time.
Me
When the-
wife.
When the cat's got your tongue, and there's no need to dismay, just summon up this word and you've got a lot to say. Better use it carefully or it could change your life. I said it to me girl, and now me girl's me wife.
Oh my god.
It has to
What-
be. It has to be like an Irish song, or to
What is?
name your wife.
Chat knows
Ah.
it. Chat knows it.
I'd like to buy a vowel. Oh, or a syllable.
I'll give
A title.
I'll give you both a hint.
A composer.
It's probably the longest word you can think of.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Oh, beat you to it.
Kanara got it.
Can I say Julie Andrews and Mary Poppins? With the accompaniment.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. Okay, I will say this, I forgot about this, but I love Mary Poppins.
Atrocious.
Mhm.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Actually, an inside joke in my house when my kids were really, really little, like toddler age. They're teenagers now. But when they were toddlers, every time they said mom too much and I got overstimulated, I would look at my kids and go, I am sorry, I have changed my name to supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And if you cannot say that word, then please do not talk to me. And I turn and walk away.
I taught myself, because I remember when the movie came out,
I forgot to
I
make
taught
number
myself
one.
how to spell it. I can't spell it now, but I taught myself how to spell it forwards and backwards.
That's awesome. I was the
Yeah.
I was
I
the
was a
kid that
nerd.
had like the Disney
There
sing-along
we go.
VHSs. So I learned how to like sound out supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and then like got to sing it with the whole lyrics at the bottom. It was like Disney karaoke when I was a kid. It was great.
I'd love that. After you watch, if nobody here is watching Mary Poppins, watch the musical Mary Poppins, and then watch the show Mr. Banks.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Wow. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give it, no spoilers. No spoilers, but the chimney did it. Just, you know. I just want you to be prepared for it. It's so violent.
With the cannonball.
Yep.
The cannonball. Ah!
Fire!
Yeah, right, Bravewood. I love that. I love that.
All right, the next one. Lovers are very special people. They're the luckiest people in the world. With one person, one very special person, a feeling deep in your soul. Say you were half, now you're whole. No more hunger and thirst.
Amen. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I was like, did that come out of the Bible? Wait, hold on. Is this Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat?
No.
Damn it.
I'll say it one more time. Lovers are very special people. They're the luckiest people in the world.
Barbara Streisand.
Well, you got the singer. What's the musical?
Funny Girl.
You got it.
Are you kidding me?
You got
Whoa.
it. And what's the song name?
I have no idea.
Harley, you have a chance to steal.
No, I don't.
You don't know it?
No.
The song is named People from Funny Girl.
Well, I was gonna say that too. I thought that's just too obvious. People.
You all noticed she said she doesn't know musicals, but yet here she is singing.
But I've never seen it. I've never seen Funny Girl.
But you.
So obviously it had to be through commercials or skits or other things.
Soundtracks or something.
Who knows?
All right.
I'd like to buy a chorus.
I'd like to buy the instrumental, please.
This one's a good one. This one's.
Yes, Jedi. It's like that one contest that they do where the people read the lyrics in a different format than what the original song is. So like Funny People, but they read it like it's a rap song, and you have to figure out, you have to like dissect it. I'm like, oh man.
I'm not that good, guys.
But there's some talented people who can do that, who can take that and just completely rework it. It's like, whoa, love it.
Here we go for the next one. Give 'em the old razzle-dazzle, razzle-dazzle 'em. Give 'em an act, a lot of flash in it, and the reaction will be passion. Give 'em the old hocus-pocus. Bead and feather 'em. How can they see with sequins in their eyes?
I know what I want to say, but it's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Is that Chicago?
That is Chicago.
That's what I was thinking. And it's funny, I was singing a song. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes,
Oh,
they
yes,
both-
oh,
oh
yes.
yes, yeah. That's the song I was singing the other day.
They both reach forth. The gun, the gun, the gun, the gun. Yep.
Harley, what's the name of the song?
Okay.
She's Googling, hang on.
Remember Richard Gere. Hold on. Richard Gere, that's all I remember. Hold on. It's not called Razzle Dazzle, is it?
Final answer?
It is.
It is? Oh, shit! Okay.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Chicago the musical lives in my head some days rent free.
My daughter has seen that, and she's seen it live in New York. She's seen the when the movie came out and stuff like that, probably at least 30 or 40 times.
Love
She can quote everything from it.
Chicago, the movie. You reset my buzzer.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, the next one. Food, glorious food. What would
glorious food. Da, da, da. Ethel Merman.
What wouldn't we give for that extra bit more? That all that we live for. What should we fate to do? Nothing but brood on food, magical food, wonderful food, marvelous food, fabulous food.
Oh my God. Why do I know this?
Da 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 da.
You get a point if you know the name of the song.
I don't. I don't even know where it's from.
I knew I knew that song. Can't tell you what it is. I was like, where have I heard that? Don't know where it came from. I know it's Queen's intro. That's all I know.
Queen, my DMs are open.
Right.
And time's up. The song is Food, Glorious Food from Oliver.
Oliver's a musical?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was those things you put in martinis.
But it's also
I only know Oliver and Company.
But it's only been but it's also been featured in the hit movie Ice Age, Continental Drift.
I only made it past the first one.
Oliver and Company, the Disney. Isn't that the one of the
yes,
Fox?
the Disney one.
The Disney
He
one
said
of the,
Oliver, so all I think of is Oliver and Company and Billy Joel. Also, that's what I might call my child's boyfriend.
No, it's those things you put inside of a martini, Bravewood.
But also Bravewood, I think Oliver and Company, the Disney movie, is loosely based off the story of Oliver Twist because the tiny cat Oliver is supposed to be Oliver Twist.
All right, here's another one.
I'm so bad at these.
What did you say you are? How about a laugh? You could give me some, or I could give you some. Are you ready for some fun? How would you like a, let me show you a little good time?
This isn't about cheerleaders, right? I'm just
No, it's not. It's I'll sing you the melody if it helps.
Yes.
Okay.
Da 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 da. Da da
Oh.
da 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 da.
Oh my God.
Big spender, ya ta
Yeah,
ta
there you
go. Not cabaret. Yeah, it's the one with Cher was in that. She was one who ran the house.
Oh, Burlesque.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
It's not Burlesque with Christina Aguilera.
Nope.
Hey, big spender, ya da 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 spend.
It is
a little dime on me.
It is big.
What is that?
It is Big Spender from Sweet Charity.
I could have never told you that.
Why would I know that song? I didn't even know that title.
Because everyone does it.
Are we playing the same game?
Yes.
I need you to understand that this comes firsthand knowledge to Flair. He could do this in his sleep, and he's probably going to send me a message later going, oh my God, how did you not get Barbra Streisand, Harley? Like I already know.
All right, we have time for about 2 more, and then we'll do a final.
Okay.
We'll do a final one where you can wager your points.
Those are mine. I earned them. Gosh darn it! I ain't giving those up.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. You'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
Sing it.
Yeah. With a little flair.
Flair.
Here, how about I just
Sing it, Elton.
How about I just pull this up for you? Just because I don't want I feel like the original people, or not the originals, but the stars.
Why weren't we doing this from the beginning?
Because I want to honor
questions
these people.
now. How many of you have gotten some of these? That's what I'm curious about. I'm looking over at the chat like your grandma sitting over there, like I can just see you. How many of you guys have gotten?
If life should reject you, there's me to protect you. If I say that your tongue is vicious,
I can't hear it. I don't hear the stream. I just hear us talking.
It's simply that.
Okay. I'm trying to find a way to do this without you seeing the screen. Because it's got the title in it.
Well, How do I hear what's on the stream without? I don't have your stream running. It's back there just on the pause thing. Or it's running, but it's paused, not paused. Because you told me to watch through here, so I'm watching.
Though now and again I'm aware that my candid.
Well, you got the B. Arthur part. She's in it.
Oh, it's gonna be
Mame?
It is.
Okay.
That's
so,
Mame. That's the Mame with. That's the one with Lucille Ball. I'm guessing based on this. I can't hear what it is.
So can you tell me the lyrics one more time?
Yes. Well, she got the main part. She's got the musical. The lyrics are, "We'll always be bosom buddies, friends,
Okay, it's gonna be
sisters,
bosom
and
buddies.
She
Yeah.
got it.
Bosom buddies.
Kanara, just so you know, you're only 5 points behind Harley right now.
Good time for Harley to go AFK.
Which means all you have to do is get one musical right, and you'll be right in the exact same
Ride
element.
with me.
Tonight on the 11 o'clock news, the place that's known as HE double hockey sticks apparently has frozen over. I say again, it has frozen over. Kanara was able to guess a musical and the title of the song, the year it was released, and the producers. Back to you in the studio.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Okay, I gotta find this on this list. Where is this?
If you're gonna play it, you still have to do it for me because I can't hear what you're playing.
I couldn't hear anything. You and I are the same. I can't hear crap.
I thought maybe it was me because I'm. You should totally try and be a radio host. I think that'd be fun. I would love to do that.
All right.
Because I also don't use pauses. I don't use
Oh, I definitely do.
Here's the next one, and then we'll do our final one for wagering points. I sailed away on a little boat to heaven, and by some chance I found a bottle in my fist, and there I stood, nicely passing round the whiskey, but the passengers were bound to resist.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to hang out with these people in this musical.
So it's about pirates. That's all I got.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. I have no idea.
I sailed around in that little boat to heaven, and by some chance I found a bottle in my fist, and there I stood, nicely passing
Captain
around
Morgan.
the whiskey.
Or whatever it's called.
Well, there I stood. I'm thinking Captain Morgan. He's got the rum in his fist,
Right.
and he's got his foot up on the whiskey barrel or whatever it is, or the rum barrel.
The people all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat. People all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Hold please.
And the
Hold
devil will
please.
drag you under.
You're rocking the boat, correct?
Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby.
And it's
rock the boat.
from Guys and Dolls.
It is Guys and Dolls, but it's
Why is the rum
not.
gone?
But it is sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Rum gone. That's what was going through my head. Drink more, cook less. But why is the rum gone? That was going through my
Wait, what was the musical?
Guys and Dolls.
Guys and Dolls.
Sit down. You're rocking the boat.
And the final one, we're gonna spin it, and you're able to wager your points that you have currently for us to decide the winner. Harley, you have 20. Kanara, you have 11.
Don't look at me, girl.
I'm waiting.
Let's see what you got.
Harley, how much are you
I got
wagering?
20.
No. Let's do your moxie. Show me your moxie.
How much you wagering?
11.
Okay.
All in.
Okay.
Oh!
Tina.
0.
You should see me when I play poker.
Oh, my poker face is horrible, I swear.
Are we ready? Oh, this is gonna be nothing for you two. It's gonna be a fight to decide who's gonna be the one that gets it.
Got my button ready.
Are you ready, both of you?
Yep, let's go.
Sure.
Let me show you around. Maybe play you a sound. You look like you're both pretty group.
You're
I knew she's gonna. All right, name the song.
What's
Hold
the name
on.
of the song?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Stalling.
No, I don't have to stall. I have to hear the whole song in my head.
4,
That's stall.
3,
2.
Nope.
2,
I'm not gonna get the
1.
title.
1. All right, I will give you 6.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Panara, can you name the title of the song?
No.
Can you finish it? Because I can
Yes.
do it if I play
Yeah.
the whole song.
Let's see. Let me show you around. You look like you're both pretty groovy. And
Oh,
if-
Sweet Transvestite.
Yep.
Ding, 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 ding.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for it.
I'll show you around.
I know. I'm like, I can hear
Come
Tim
up to
Curry
the lair.
and see what's
Come
on.
to the lab and see what's on the slab.
With a final
Ah.
score of 26
Tim Curry.
to 17. Remember, Kanara said she was going to end up with 0. She has 17 points.
Woohoo! I'll take it.
All
I'll
right.
take it.
Those of you in chat, how many of you got all of them correct? If you did,
Oh, they all got them correct. I think all of them got 100%. I really do. I believe that in my soul because they have the Googles.
I would propose we keep this game up for the rest of the season.
yeah, we can have our.
I would like
other
to be an
guests.
undefeated champion if I can try.
Ooh, Bravewood got 3. Jedi had 41 points. You guys are great on the Googles.
Mm-hmm.
That Google one, oh, the Googles with that 41 had to have happened.
But yes, that concludes that game. And now, if I am correct,
She's like, good. Now I don't have to deal with this anymore.
now
I can't wait to do a food canning trivia contest with Flair.
Oh,
See if you've been paying attention this summer. Google my Aunt Fanny.
Mhm.
Okay, hang on. Everybody, let's go Google Jedi's Aunt Fanny. Oh, my.
Now we're gonna get back
Live to laugh, laugh to live.
get back to the questions. And now we're gonna start talking about something that I know Kanara will be really interested in.
Underwater basket weaving?
Maybe.
oh my God, that would be epic.
Or what does the milking machine look like for hamsters? Those are
Yes.
2 questions I have.
Yeah. What inspired you to pursue your passion in food safety and preservation?
Oh, good Lord, you're going to have to shut me up on this. So back in the day, when I went to culinary school, I mean, I learned how to cook on my own. They didn't have, we had Julia Child out there, and we had a lot of stuff on the PBS broadcasting stuff. But it's kind of hard to do because nowadays you go online, you download all your ingredients, you go to the store, you buy everything. But you had to watch the shows and you had to write everything down. And we didn't have VHS, so you couldn't pause. You had to write really fast, and hopefully you got to read your writing afterwards. And so I learned how to cook because I was of the generation of we had the same thing every week on the same day. Hamburger patties on Tuesdays. We had spaghettis on Thursday. We had tacos on Friday, and our tacos were very boring. We weren't allowed hot sauce as kids. We got ketchup. So it was very boring. So I learned how to cook because I was hungry, to try something different. And I found out about different foods by sleepovers at my friend's house because their parents cooked differently. I was like, whoa, not everybody cooks like my parents do. This is great. So we fast forward to I'm married. My daughter is probably about, let's see, she was still in high school, so she had to be under 18, but she was able to drive. And I decided I wanted to be a better cook. And it started by watching one of the chefs on TV that he's kind of out of the limelight on some stuff now, but it's when he actually had his cooking shows was Emeril Lagasse. And it was his actual cooking shows. He would explain things kind of like in the same mannerism, not the same inflection, the way Julia Child did. We're doing this because. So you got an answer kind of what you were doing. And I thought, I need to learn more of this. So I was gifted my very first cookbook, which is the Better Homes and Garden. It's a red and white checkered pattern.
I have that.
I've got my mother's too from the 1950s or 1940s. And So I bought Emeril Lagasse's cookbook and I started cooking a lot of stuff out of it. And that's when I realized I didn't understand how to read recipes, because some of the recipes were good and some of the recipes were horrible. And I decided I wanted to learn how to cook, but there was no place to learn how to cook. So he and I sat down, had a lot of conversation, because we were going to invest some money into this. I decided to go to culinary school. And by this time now, I have learned how to cook. I've taught myself how to read recipes, how to anticipate problems and everything. So I went to culinary school and love that. If I could go back to culinary school today and experience it all over again, I would. In a heartbeat, I would. I wish we could have do-overs. And that's when I was like, okay, this is great. So then I had my personal chef business and I ran that for 7 years. And I was going back to, because somebody wanted comfort food, what their parents used to cook and whatever. I went to those old recipe boxes.
What?
And
Oh,
one of the first recipes I
no.
pulled out of my recipe box was blackberry jam. The freezer version that was then later canned. So I had two different versions that I got from my neighbor, Mrs. Mahan. Thank you, Mrs. Mahan. And she was the first one who taught me how to can blackberry jam. And I was like, what else can I can? What else can I do? Now, this is before I knew what I know now, type thing. So then we move up to Oregon. We bought the house in 2010. So we both retired from Southern California, and me from the corporate real estate world, him from the California Highway Patrol, and we moved to Oregon. And I found out there were things up here called master food preservers, master gardeners, master foragers, master anglers, which are, the fishermen and stuff like this. And I was like, what's this master food preserver thing? Because I was out of the big city. So I didn't have clients anymore. So I was like a floating adrift on the ocean of, who do I cook for? Oh my God, give me somebody to cook for. It's just me and my husband. I cook big and I want to be able to cook and all this kind of stuff. And then somebody had turned me on to the master food preservers. And I was like, what is this? So I started doing my research and, contacted a local extension office and talked to them. And I was like, sign me up. They're like, well, we'd like to interview you first. I'm like, oh, honey, please. I interview very, very well. Matter of fact, I'll be interviewing you by the time it's done. But yeah, what time would you like me to be there? I can be there in 38 minutes. Well, we're not doing the interviews for another, couple of weeks and whatever. So showed up for the interview. Of course, they accept everybody unless you come in and they just want to get eyes on you type of thing, And I was enraptured in as much in the food safety aspect of it and the preserving side of it as I was when I first went to culinary school. So it was like reliving that all over again. And I'm like, I need to do more. So I started taking more classes and more advanced classes. And I bought a freeze dryer and started freeze drying. And then the university's calling me, talk to us about this freeze dryer. What are you doing with it? How are you doing it? What's your method of testing? All this kind of stuff. And we have on campus, we have a test kitchen, an entire lab food kitchen up there. And so they then got a freeze dryer up there. So they started the official testing for that and recipes and whatnot. And it has just been a journey and that's where a lot of my research is, but to understand how food works and to understand, terminology like viscosity of liquids, and how that affects the canning process. You just can't put anything into a jar and seal it up. And by the way, for those in the back who understand food preservation on a very tiny level, and it's not just old ladies putting fruit and jam in jars. Okay, back. And so I wanted, what can we put in here? Why can't I put this in here? And sometimes I wouldn't get the greatest of answers. It's like, because the person who's teaching the class is just teaching the class based on the tested safe recipe that they have, but they don't necessarily understand why that was considered tested safe. And I'm like, I have to know why. So I would go up to campus and I would talk to them. Why can I do this, but I can't do that? And I want to know why I can't. Just don't say, well, it's because you can't, because I can't do that. I want to know why. Because then when I teach these classes and people say, they don't take me at face value, type thing. Just because I'm telling you and I'm the person of authority here doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but I research everything. Every recipe I do, I look up the most current recipe. I can do a spaghetti sauce in my head, but I will always look up the recipe because things change over time, because testing catches up to itself. And that's why we tell people you cannot do your grandmother's recipes anymore, because 99% of them have been tested and found to be no longer safe, like sealing jars with paraffin wax. And a lot of people say, well, I never got sick, or nobody's ever died from it, and that's what's called survivor
What?
bias.
Oh
In which you may
no.
not have gotten sick, but how many of those jars did you give to family members? Did they get sick and you just don't know about it? So I had to learn more and more, and it was just like it was a progression of learning for me. Now I'm self-teaching things on a side. It's a hobby of food anthropology, of where did these foods come from? How did we go from here to here, and where's the future going from there? So that's like a hobby of me to just research stuff like that. I'm sorry, that was very long-winded. I didn't mean to be.
No, that's good. The more
Oh,
info, the
that's
better.
great.
It's what we're here for.
Yeah. So in, career path wise, so can you describe your background in your field?
So started off as a master food preserver, and the master food preserver program was I went to class every day, and we got there at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we left about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and every day we had lectures, then we had labs, then you had homework, then they actually like played games that was designed to, tomatoes, onions, and we're making this, type thing to get people, thinking outside the box and learning our critical thinking. And then after that went through, and I was a volunteer for 2 years. I was a volunteer master food preserver, and there's like a lot of volunteers, and they have to do X amount of hours. We had to recertify every single year, which means you have to take a written test and you have to take lab tests. And then the lady who was the director for my particular county relocated and moved to a completely different state. It wasn't like they moved to a different county, and the position became open. And I was like, and they were interviewing people, and when they interviewed people, they would get somebody, and then that person had to go before a panel of the volunteers, at that time me being one of them, where we would ask them questions, because we dive into these questions. You say you've got you've been trained, that you've got some food training, and it turns out all they had was a serve safe, but they've never been like, how do you teach somebody how to cut a carrot? Where did you learn how to cut a carrot? Just because we want to know what their skill sets were. And it wasn't just me. There was like 15 of us. So when they came in they did the interview with the high mucky muck staff, and then they'd come in and then they'd meet us. And I know there was several times, because they would come walking in and they didn't realize how many of us were going to be sitting in the audience. They came into this room thinking they were walking into an office, and they walked into the auditorium, and there's 15 of us sitting there, and not aggressively, because we're excited. We want to get somebody that we want to work with.
Yeah.
None of them were working out. None of them were meshing with them over there. And I finally said, and again, I contacted, OSU and said, what do I need to do? One, I know these volunteers already. I've worked with them for years. I know who's good at what. I know what their strengths are. I know what their weaknesses are. I know how to motivate them. I know how to make sure they stay on top of things. And so I had to take very extensive training through OSU to understand where to get the information, how to utilize the university's research papers. That's not just OSU. By the way, there are 3 OSUs. Allow that to confuse your brain housing group.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Oregon State, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State. And so they all post things as OSU. And so I had to learn how to, access these papers, use these for research. And then I was given assignments of I had to write, papers on how would you teach somebody how to do this, making sure I had all the steps in there and everything else. And there was no plagiarism back then. We had to write this stuff out. You couldn't get on the Googles and pull it up, because you were in a room. And so I had to go through by rote of, things that I knew on there. Hi, Pook, nice to see you. Nice to see you. And so that training has, followed me all the way through now. Now, insofar, and I'm very candid with everybody, insofar as me working for OSU, I no longer work with OSU. And that's only because when COVID finally ended and everybody was allowed to go back in, during this time, they completely reworked the Master Food Preserver program. And it got completely changed to where now these Master Food Preservers were not being trained in-house through the various county extension offices. They would take like 3-hour classes. They would do 2 labs, and then they considered that a master food preserver. And I argued against this, and not just me. There were a lot of us who argued against this. And because they took that route, it was no longer the master food preserver program. They changed the name, and it became I'm trying to remember the exact verbiage that they use. It's been a couple of years now. Yeah, almost 2 years now. And they changed the entire
What?
vernacular of it
Oh,
to be
no.
like women's health. And I'm like, so you're genderfying food preservation? And so a lot of us directors, and then they started closing down all the extension offices. So they closed down like 5 extension offices. And this is all coming from campus type thing. And so I think they really missed the boat, because I was telling them, I said, okay, here's the thing, here's what we need to do. And we need to go, you need to make an account on Twitch. We need to start doing this stuff on Twitch. I can do this from home. I don't have to be in an office. And this was before all this stuff happened. This was prior to that, when they shut down the world because of COVID. I'm like, we could still be doing this. We could still be teaching. We can still be instructing. We can still be reaching these people. And so I still have all the access still to all the research, all the university papers, all the kind of stuff on there. I didn't burn any bridges, like this. And I still certify every year. I still take the test every year. Again, long-winded, and I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Great.
The next question that we have is, have you had any particular memorable projects or challenges in your career so far that you would want to talk about?
One of the things and it still breaks my heart, I always tell people, and we talked about reading recipes, right? Before you're before you make those cupcakes, before you make that bread or whatever, read the recipe at least a couple of times, make sure you've got everything out in your measurements. That goes in so far as, I used to work the preservation hotline, and I worked that every single day, and people called in with food preserving projects. And it wasn't just from Oregon. This was a national hotline that they were able to call into. And I had one gentleman who called up and said, and went through the whole thing about how he canned his tuna. And I asked him what recipe. I asked him about his canner. He said, I've got a Presto canner. I took my lid and the gauge down and had it tested through my extension office, and they made sure that everything was on the up and up. I'm like, oh, I love that. He goes, I followed the recipe out of the Presto canner book that came with the canner. I'm like, love this. And we were taught critical thinking. I said, so tell me about your process. And he tells me his process, and he tells me the time. And I said, stop right there. How old is your canner? And he said, it's from 1974. And he's following a recipe. He was following the recipe that came with the canner. It was his mother's canner from 1974. And based on the time that he processed it, I had to tell him he had to throw 60 pints. And in a pint jar, you could fit 1 pound of tuna. So I had to tell him he had to throw away 60 pounds of tuna. And of course, I asked him first, I said, when did you can this? Because if he had canned it and they were just now cooling, or maybe they've only been sitting out for, an hour or two, he could start the process over. Oh, I did it 2 weeks ago. Oh, that broke my heart. I'm not the canning police. I can only advise people and tell them, this is why it's not safe. This is why you shouldn't be consuming this. If you choose to do that, that's on you. But my best advice is, please don't give this to anybody who has a compromised immune system, the elderly, or children. But yeah, that broke my heart. That was the hardest thing to do. And I've had to tell a lot of people things that, when in doubt, throw it out. And it's a hard, because nobody wants to throw away food, especially in times right now where we see the cost of everything. That's why home preservation, to me, needs to be a staple in schools everywhere, of how to can basic foods. Because I'll tell you right now, when COVID hit and the grocery stores shut down, I was fine. I had milk, I had cottage cheese, I had cream cheese, because it had all been freeze dried. I had my canned goods, I had my dehydrated goods. I don't have to go to the store for a year. Now, the only thing I miss out on is fresh vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables. But if canned right and canned properly, they retain all their nutrient values for up to 3 years. So yeah. Wow. Hi, Aspie. Aspinata.
Do you want to go down to the informational and technical focused ones?
This film was brought to you in part by, sorry.
PBS Kids. Sorry. All right,
hey,
so
Apple.
I told you. What did I tell you?
regards to
Didn't I
preserving
tell you?
yourself.
Because I told you. Mm-hmm. And
just
when
hit
did
ads.
I
Wait,
tell you?
ads?
A
Yeah, let's do
long
the
time
ads.
ago. And what did I say will happen when I
Okay.
told you? Exactly what just happened.
Maybe
If
next
you're
question.
not subbed, hi. If you're subbed, hi guys. We're still here.
1 minute.
Ooh, I beat you, Flair. I beat
Yep,
you. I beat you.
did.
Love this.
Da 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 da.
She is such a hot mess.
You're welcome.
Please hold. This stream is important to us. Redeemed moo. I can't hear it, Cyber Queen, so I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Ta-da!
By the way, for the people who can still see in the stream, that is 82% vodka.
82 to 85. Where's the clear one?
The rest of it's ice. 20% ice, 80% vodka.
So back to preservation, and it's okay. So back to I don't want to drink, you bossy. The most common mistakes when people start preserving food at home. What are the most common ones you see?
The most common mistake that I see and that I get all the time is people assume everything can go into a water bath canner, which is just a big pot of water, put the stuff in the jars, submerge it, or I saw one person doing pickles, and I have a jar here. Hang on. This is a jar of my blackberry stuff, is that they had the water only up to here, thinking that the air is going to still vent out. They thought you can't cover it with water because the water goes inside the jar. That's not how that works. So they either think it can go into a water bath canner when it can't. So like anything that's high acid is what goes into a water bath, which means a low pH, you have high acid. High acid is things like anything in vinegar. So all your pickles, right? Fruits, because they're high in sugar, we're packing them in syrup, jams, jellies, those can all go into a water bath canner. Now, things that have a high pH, have a low acid, those have to go into a pressure canner. So things like vegetables, green beans, maybe you got pinto beans, you want to can pinto beans. Meats, all your meats have to go into a pressure canner. So that's the biggest thing is people don't understand. And if anybody here remembers one thing that I say on this stream is do not follow any canning recipes that you see on TikTok or Instagram. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they say their credentials are. I've been canning for 40 years. I don't care. Don't believe any of those, because I don't know why I've not been banned on TikTok yet, because I comment on these videos. I'm very nice and I'm very professional when I do it. But I tell people this is not safe. I wish I could type more of those things and tell people why they're not safe, but you only get like X amount of characters on there. So yeah, that's the biggest thing is if you don't know, my DMs are open. If you don't know, my DMs are open. I'm always happy to get tested safe recipes. Now, what tested safe means doesn't mean that they're just safe. It means we have tested them to be safe within our test kitchens, whether it's the campus on OSU, whether it's NCHFP, which is the National Center for Home Food Preservation. That's out of the University of Georgia. There's a test kitchen in Pennsylvania State. There's a test kitchen in Indiana State. So a lot of these universities now have test kitchens. So the recipes that I give to people when I tell them how to can things are from places that have already tested them and they have been registered as safe. Sure, Pook.
Yep. Ask
I
away.
think so.
Yeah, you can ask away. And while they're coming up with their questions, how do you stay up to date on the latest guidelines and technologies in home food preservation, Kanara?
Well, it's kind of like what I always go through, and every single day I'm on NCHFP and I am on Oregon State's site as well. We get the bulletins if anything has changed. So the two biggest testing agencies here in the United States is the USDA and NCHFP. So when new canning methods come out, or if recipes have changed or times have changed, we get bulletins. I don't have my big book anymore. I have two manuals that are like 3-ring binders that are like about this thick. I don't use those anymore because it's quicker for me to go to the Googles and use it there. But anytime I go onto these sites and I go into the back end of like the university papers and stuff, those are always up to date with the latest and greatest of all the information that's out there.
That's really great.
Bye, Claire.
So I've been a person who's tried to dabble in preservation, especially with like large batches of things that I've made at home and stuff like that. So when it comes for beginners, what methods do you think are the most accessible and safe for beginners to use to even start to try?
The very first thing that I would recommend to people is doing things like fruits, jams, and jellies or pickles, because it's a water bath canner. A lot of times the pressure canners intimidate people because of how you have to use them. If you have a wiggle weight, you have to listen to it, or you have to sit there and stare at that dial. If you don't have the wiggle weight, you have to stare at that dial. And if you're doing tuna, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. You have to stare at that dial. Now, why do you stare at the dial? Because it has to be at a certain pressure point. And if it dips down, you have to stop, wait for that thing to cool down, and you have to start over. So that can be extremely intimidating. I use the wiggle weight because I can hear it. I can be washing dishes and I can hear it going, so I know that I'm at my pressure. So doing things that and things that don't have a long processing time. You can do tomatoes in a pressure canner or in a water bath canner, but in a water bath canner, they're going to take about 85 minutes. That's a long time. So doing jams, doing jellies, doing things like sliced peaches or pears or something like that, or making pickles and doing your own pickles. They're very quick recipes. The processing time is usually between 10 and maybe 20 minutes max. So it's not a long period of time. It's a great introductory way to the world of canning in the form of preservation in the form of canning versus things like dehydration, freeze drying, or pressure canning.
And when it comes to canning and stuff like that, can you explain the biggest risks involved in impromptu home canning and food storage?
The biggest risk is going to be with regards to low acid foods that are being canned. And the biggest risk is death because you're looking at botulism. If you don't process things correctly at the right amount of time, at the right amount of pressure, for your elevation, because elevation changes things as well, you have a risk of CBOT. Now, botulism in and of itself is inert, and it's in the dirt, and it's particularly prevalent east of the Cascades, which is, of course, going to be parts of Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, and it grows in the dirt. And this is why things like that tend to grow into dirt: beets, carrots, potatoes. That's where the botulism is going to be. But where botulism becomes dangerous and deadly is when it gets canned and it's put into a jar. It's got liquid over it. We've sealed it, right? And now we've cooked it and we've got this perfect temperature in there. Now, if we don't process it long enough at the right temperature, we're not killing those botulism spores, and they will sit in there like a ticking time bomb. And CBOT is the thing that gets in your system. And we've seen videos, I'm sure. I'd like to think that everybody here has seen the videos of people who are victims of botulism. And that can cause permanent paralysis, loss of speech, death. It's a horrible thing to go through. So that's why we are very, very strict. You don't mess around with somebody's safety, because remember, it may be something that you don't get. But what if you gave that jar of something to your mom, your grandma, your best friend? So follow the recipes exactly. There are no shortcuts to be taken in food preservation.
And with that, what are resources and tools that you would recommend for someone who wants to learn more about the preservation of food at home, or even start it?
Let's see. Let me put this up over here. Am I able to post a link, or should I send it over to you?
Give it to me and then I'll post it.
Okay. You want me to send it to you in a DM here?
Yes, actually, because I can see those. I was like, wait, I have my second computer, so yes, I can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you in a DM here. This is This is the best one to start off with, and Flair will post that in the chat. This is NCHFP. This is the National Center for Home Food Preservation. So this handles, and they are the ones who filter everything out to all the universities. Now, unless the universities come up with a unique situation of something that NCHFP is not currently researching, if they have a testing lab on the campus, they can start doing their own lab testing, and then they can submit it to NCHFP, and then they can propagate it out to all of. They don't need to do retesting. They just take all the information, because the universities have to. I mean, they've got a list of things that they have to provide of everything on there to make sure that NCHFP has all the information, and then that gets filtered out to all the universities. So that particular site right there is the best site for you to go to, or the USDA. That's the Department of Agriculture. And canning, that's how the whole process started, was through tomatoes that the USDA put out for canning. The most common thing canned throughout the United States is tomatoes.
I know a lot of people who do salsa.
Oh yes, and not all salsas are created equal. We only have one recipe that's called choice salsa that gives you a little bit of leeway of how and what you're going to put in for the ingredients. Otherwise, there is a specific rule you must follow to can salsa for it to be safe.
All right. That concludes all that we have in regards to food safety and all of that. So I think we're going to transition over to a new segment that we're adding to the show, but I think it'll be a good thing, and it's called With Gratitude.
With gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I suddenly afraid?
This is a segment in the show where we take a moment to think of 3 people that we want to say thank you to, and tell them why we appreciate them. And it can be anyone in the entire world.
I did that. Anybody in the entire world?
Yep.
Anyone.
So we'll start.
Okay.
If you wanna think about it, we can start with Harley, because she already said she has hers.
Okay, go Harley.
Oh, it was pretty easy. Because this week has been, well, not just this week, the last month of my life has been very family oriented, and getting back with family members, spending more time together, and not being, shut up in the house. The first person that I have to express gratitude for is my grandmother. My grandmother is a tiny little 4'9" woman who just turned 80 last weekend. And I actually made her dessert. I made her a lunch where I grilled chicken. Made her a fruit pizza so she could have some dessert and not feel spongy with cake. My grandma helped raise me. Her and my grandfather, while he was still alive, they taught me how to cook, how to do all of the things. And I don't think that I would be the same person if I never had them in my life.
Oh, I love
Now that I have my grandma, she's my safe place. She's also the mediator between myself and my mom, because who doesn't call grandma when you're having a problem? Especially one with mom. And you need somebody to understand you. But I've been fortunate enough to have that relationship in my life. To, the point where she's 80. I'm like, you've got to meet your great grandkids. They're teenagers, they're almost out of high school. And I was fortunate enough to know great grandparents until I was 15 or 16. So very fortunate for her and her kindness. I have 2 more, right, Claire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Friendship-wise, friendship is a really big thing in my life. And in the past year, a lot has changed in my life, more than a lot of people know. But Flair gets my second moment of gratitude, because holy hell, I think we've been through almost everything together at this point, except the divorce.
She's not kidding. We've been through a tornado and everything.
Like, literally, at one point, we were literally in a tornado together in this friendship. And it's just one of those, like, I think we knew at, like, some point of, like, yeah, Flair and I are gonna be friends forever. But then like that tornado thing happened, I'm like, you're stuck with me for life. You are. He is down to the point where he doesn't like children, but will at least spend 5 minutes with mine and try to tolerate them.
Something about younger people just.
It makes
Kids
you
today. Yeah, kids today.
But so Flair definitely. Flair and I have been through a lot together. So the fact that we've been able to still maintain a friendship and be able to do this and still play games and talk how we do, like, completely grateful for that. And then lastly, I'm lastly grateful. One of the changes that I've had in the last year is I started dating someone new that was completely off kilter for me, and let me tell you, still off kilter. It's actually the healthiest relationship I've ever been in, so it's scary. And
That's what it
actually,
should be.
in 2 days, we're gonna hit 6 months. We've been through a lot together, and we're slowly building like this great relationship, and also like having a best friend again, in a significant other is like the most amazing thing ever. So, Nate Ho is actually very much appreciated in my life at this point. He's helped me
Does she
heal
sound
more
like a
than I
robot to anybody else?
Oh, you just started
She
sounding
sounds
like a robot.
Robots.
Say something else, Kanara.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh yeah,
Now she sounds like a robot.
You're definitely a robot now.
So we're all a robot?
I think it's from your
I
end.
don't know.
Harley, do I sound
Maybe
normal to you?
Yes. Do I sound normal to you?
Yes. Okay.
Let me do this. Hang on.
Anything else you want to say about Nate
Uh,
that he'll let you say without it coming to bite you later?
Thanks for putting up with all of my bullshit and my teenage daughters, because I know that's not easy, especially when there's 3. There's 3, and like this man has, he's great. He's like, hey, you know where your kids are? Like, yeah. He goes, well, I have the Life 360, so I can tell you where they are too. I'm like, okay. So it's really nice to finally be able to be happy about a relationship.
I told Kanara that see if she wants to come back, leave and come back, see if that fixes her shoes.
I can try that. Yeah. How do I leave? Do I just hang up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then rejoin.
We'll see if that. Nope. She's working on it.
Yep, I see that.
Oh, the mic died.
Oh, that would explain it.
Nothing.
Nope.
Thank you, Pook Speak.
Yeah, thank you,
appreciate it.
Pook.
Let's see. She's talking, but we're still.
Are you looking for something? Or someone?
No, I was. What was I doing?
How would I know?
Our first fight.
I hear noises, so I'm gonna go to the other screen while we're trying to figure this out.
Okay.
Still nothing. We can test it one way real quick. Kanara, do you want to try to hop in the Discord? Oh.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Oh, it worked!
It's back.
You're back!
Woo!
I'm telling plus Kanara equals nothing because it always works.
Hey, but it was only a minute, so
Sorry, guys.
It said
Hi.
it said hello, and then And then now we're back.
That was the weirdest thing. I have to find out if he's on his ham radio up there, because sometimes that interferes. Oh, let me send him a text.
Ooh.
Okay. I heard all three of. I did get to hear all three of.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Are you transmitting? Okay, that just sounds like it's a venereal disease. It says, "Are you transmitted?"
What do you mean?
Kanar, do you want to do you want to go with your people you want to thank? You don't have to do 3 since you did some at the beginning.
Wait, I sound funny now, Athena? Do I sound funny to anybody else? I mean, I just sound funny in general, but I'm just asking.
You sound fine to me. Let me check out.
When people hear me on the phone, a lot of times I get called sir. I'm
Oh.
echoing.
Oh, I know what it is. Hold on.
Blair's got it.
Please hold. Da 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 da. Please hold. This stream is important to us.
Is she gone now?
Is the echo gone?
Am I better now? Hello. Oh.
There
Better?
we go.
Okay.
Fixed it.
Yay.
Kanar, do
Okay,
you...
so my 3, the first one would have to be my husband.
Let me get to here. So you get your dramatic scene. There you go.
Okay. My dramatic scene. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. My first would have to be my husband. This man is my rock. I knew I was going to marry him the day I met him. And 18 months later, we were married, and we've been together over 40 years. And he supports me in emotionally, like, when you have that partner, when you have that connection with somebody, it's a true gift. It's something that it's hard to put into words. So we have been through a lot together. We've come out on the other side. He's the only one who can tell me to shut up and not get hit. Mustache man
That's
is
a
amazing.
fair statement.
I mean, he's the only one who can look at me and go, and done. And I'm like, I'm done. And I'm done, you know. He can talk me off a ledge. He can boost me up and encourage me to do things where I thought, I can't do this. And he's like, you don't know until you try. And I'm like, yeah, but that's so cliche. He goes, but it's true. And he just has this calm way about him. When he was on the department, on the Highway Patrol, they used to call him a stick of dynamite with a 4-mile fuse because you couldn't anger him. He just was this mellow. He got in trouble one time because he didn't write enough tickets because he talked to people. And he explained to people, this is why I can't have you doing this on my highway. I need you to, you know, chill out a little bit, stuff like this. So he just is this wonderful, and he's a wonderful father. I mean, holy cow, he'd come home from work at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night after he'd driven home from LA, and he would come in, he'd get out of his uniform, and he'd take a quick shower because our daughter she was an infant at that time, and he would sit in the recliner chair, you know, and you know, he put the little thingy up and you put your knees up like this, and he would set her there, and she would just start to blather and talk, and he would sit there and talk to her, and as tired as he was wonderful. He is wonderful. He still is wonderful. It's not an individual, but it's a group of individual, is the women who continue, like Julia Child, to jam their foot in the door to keep the door from being shut and saying, you will listen to me. I am a viable person. I can outcook any of these guys here, and have demonstrated that. And we still have, roads that we have to cross and hurdles and everything. But the fact that they never gave up, they took a lot of flack for other women in the field. You know, I've heard the talk in the kitchens. I worked in a commercial kitchen, and not as I was an accountant for a restaurant, and at night I worked the register, which was in the kitchen, and I heard the stuff that was said. And back then, you had to keep your mouth shut, you know. So to all these women who continue to push boundaries, not just in the culinary field, but in the job fields in general. You know, we have women working in big construction jobs now and everything else. So thank you for doing that. The other person is somebody I've never met, but I would love to. What's one of those bucket list things? It's somebody who has helped me with my temper. Yeah, I used to have a really bad temper when I was younger, and I started listening. I am not religious in any way, shape, or form, and I've always been very candid about that. But it doesn't mean that certain segments don't resonate with you. But it's the Dalai Lama. To listening to things that he has taught and things that he has said have given me a different perspective on how to view things and how to listen more. I think that's huge. I don't think people listen enough. I think people tend to be like the loudest little bird in the nest.
What? Oh no!
You see this in business meetings, the one who's always, oh, my team's done this, or we've done this, and I've led them here, and I've done this, and I've done this, and and then they turn over and they go, and Kanara, and then I also did, and that kind of stuff. And so he really helped me to take a step back. That doesn't mean you don't do something stupid on the freeway. I'm not going to be screaming at you from my car. That's also how I release the negativity. You just don't get the brunt of it, because I don't want to be confrontational with that person. I'm not going to follow them and trail them around or whatever, but it gets it out, and once it's out, it's gone, and you let it go, and you go on with your journey and your life and a lot of different things. And I think a lot of people, I have two of his books over there. One of them is just little daily sayings that make me take things in a different perspective. So I think that's somebody who really had a profound impact on how I go through life now. I go through life now with a lot more kindness and grace than I did when I was in my 30s. So, yeah. That would be me.
And I guess it's my turn.
Yes, it is your turn.
In her 30s, I would just like to say I level with that, because now that I'm 34 and I'm getting close to 35, like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, it's not really worth it, is it?
No, it's not.
I was on the phone with my significant other the other day. I almost got hit by a shredded truck. It's a recycling truck that goes to businesses. He almost T-boned my car. And I sat there and I was like, I screamed what I needed to scream, and he looked at me, he goes, "You feel better?" I said, "Yeah, because I can't square up to that 6'2" guy that just popped out of there." I'm like, I understand my place. I'm only 5'3", guys.
You can take him.
I know I could, but
it's all about balance and pivot points.
For the purposes of my significant other, I am not allowed.
Oh, okay.
Not allowed to square up.
All right, Flair. I want to hear.
So I'm going to say the first group of people that I want to thank and bring a highlight to is the people that are considered in the golden circle. There's 4 individuals. That would be Harley, that would be Quibi, that would be Brent, and that would be Jake. And all 4 of them throughout my entire Twitch journey and everything have always been there, have always been supportive. Jake is also in Oregon, but he is the person who made my beginning graphics when I first started, because I didn't have anything and I didn't know where to start.
Aww.
And stuff like that. And so he let me commission him, and he at first wasn't gonna let me pay him, and I was like, you're nuts if you think I'm not gonna give you something for making these for me. So I commissioned him to make my starting emotes and stuff like that. Quibi and Harley I met through another streamer, and Harley obviously is here doing the show with me, so she's around all the time and we talk on a regular basis, and she's, anytime something's going on, I'm like, girl, you gotta hear about this, because I'm one of those people that, like, if something's going on and I'm like, I need somebody else's opinion, or I need somebody else just to help me, like, release it, I'm like, okay, I gotta go tell Harley, and if she's busy with her kids, okay, then I'll go tell Quibi, because Quibi will listen and give me feedback.
Right.
So one of the two, but Harley's always there. She when I was first trying to, like, create the show and the way that I wanted this to be, she was the one that I bounced things off of, and we had a vision for what it would become, and season 1 didn't end up as we thought it was going to be, but we decided, even though it kind of fell apart at one point. We're like, you know what, we're gonna do this again. And
I told
here
you.
we are
What
again.
did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Cause I
I'm gonna let
told
this
you.
go for a second.
And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
And I can talk as much as I want because they're in ads, and you know what? They'll get back. And I'm also not the one that we're focusing on right now, so it's okay if I just keep
No.
talking.
Good. We can let it roll.
Yeah, and then Brent, who is also currently streaming, which I'm like, sir, what are you doing?
I saw that pop up. I was like, no,
Yeah,
no,
what,
you're not allowed.
what are you doing? So he is a professional wrestler, but I met him through playing video games on Twitch and stuff like that. And he is the person in my life that I think I'm most inspired in the fact that, like, he has a dream of what he wants to become, and he is doing everything in his power. And here comes Sonara with a hype train.
Come on, ride that train, that choo-choo ride. Come on, ride that train, that choo-choo ride.
So now
I
we're...
don't know what happened. It slipped. It slipped.
My finger slips all the time in other people's
slipped.
cats too, so, you know,
Slipped.
I can't say much.
Ta-da!
But yeah, so Brent, he's the one that inspires me the most when it comes to, like, having a dream, pursuing it, and doing everything in your power to get to that point. You know, claw, scratch, talk to whoever you need to, you know, connect with all these people, everything. Just, he is the one person I've seen actually start from, like, you know, doing smaller shows and stuff like that, to now he's working with people who are prospects for the places like WWE and TNA and things like that. He is going to at some point become a professional wrestler.
So excited for this. I'm gonna be a stupid screaming fan with you.
Yep. So those four in the golden circle are the first people that I want to highlight because they are the backbone to who I am as a streamer, and I would not be here without them, and I would not be continuing to stream without them and their support. The second person or persons that I want to talk about, one of them is no longer with us, and one of them was married to that person, is my former band director and her deceased husband, Richard, who was also the drama teacher at the school that I went to. All this creative shenanigans and costumes and all that stuff, that is all them. They are the ones that made me feel safe when I was, you know, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, when I first met them.
Were they the ones who taught you how to hang a green screen?
No. No, we had professionals to do that.
Richard would be like, it's slightly ajar.
But we had professionals do that. But they are the ones that unleash this creative beast that is before you, that literally at the drop of an instant can you say, oh, we want to do something fun. Okay, what if we did blah, 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 blah. And I'll come up with 7 ideas and stuff like that. It's just that all that creative energy and stuff like that, that is from them. And so, and Bonnie every once in a while will come up to Chicago and things like that. And I haven't seen her in a year or so since I moved up here. But she still continues to keep track of me and talk to me and, you know, send words of encouragement when, you know, jobs change and things like that or something happens. So she's still around. So I'm so thankful for her for that aspect. And then the third group of people that I want to thank are the people who are on this call currently, Kanara and Harley. One, because I could talk and talk and talk and do all that stuff all I want by myself. I do that on a regular basis in stream, and it is so, I'm not going to say it's boring, but it's not the same as sitting down and talking to people, getting to know them, building relationships, and doing all of that. And, you know, Kanara, like I said, when we were talking on, what was it, Wednesday? No, it was on Monday. We were talking about it, and I said, you know, I've been in your chat for, you know, 8 months and stuff like that, and I just think you were the most entertaining person ever to just sit and watch because, one, I'm not a cooking person. Harley can vouch for this. I am not a cooking
No.
person. So much so that like when I like my biggest achievement of being able to cook on a regular basis is following recipes from like HelloFresh and stuff like that because I cannot cook. And it doesn't run on my
That is
family.
cooking.
Okay, but I'm saying without the recipe, wouldn't be able to do it. So and my mother's the same way. My mother can't cook. It's one of those things that's missing. And so having places like you and Dana and stuff like that to go to and watch to be like, huh, this is really interesting, and like watch and have the videos and stuff like that to be able to try things like that. It's really nice and stuff like that. And then Harley, I would not be here, because at one point I was going to stop streaming and you're like, why?
Changed our entire lives.
Uh-huh. And so
It does.
so here we are. But that is my that's my 3 groups of people that I want to highlight in the segment of With Gratitude. So we're going to transition back to the final piece of the interview and then get ready to wrap up.
There's
But
more?
yeah, rapid fire. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. We're in the home stretch.
Yes, this is the end.
Oh. And now the time has come.
Right?
Oh, I can start singing that song. I'll do it at the end once we're done.
I don't think you won't.
So here we go. Rapid fire. First word or thing that comes to mind when I say these responses. Don't think about it. The point of this is for it to be and this is what I
Fun.
think. Yep.
Bam.
So here we go. Kanara, favorite color.
Red.
Favorite food.
Is there any other color? Korean.
Favorite movie.
Ooh. Oh, come on.
First one that popped in your head.
Down Periscope.
Favorite song.
It's not a porn song. Favorite song. Kiki D, I've Got the Music in Me.
Favorite ice cream
Everybody listens to
flavor.
that on Spotify. Chocolate.
Favorite dessert.
Potato chips.
Favorite cocktail.
Vodka gimlet or martini. Those two. I mean, look, a vodka gimlet is nothing but a lime flavored martini on ice, or a briny martini with no ice. That's just right there.
Favorite holiday.
Potato chips is legit. Favorite holiday? Thanksgiving. Halloween. Thanksgiving. Halloween.
If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
With one person for a day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that could have catastrophic effects because I think of the butterfly effect on that. My husband. I think that'd be an interesting perspective to experience things through his eyes and stuff like that, and vice versa. I think that could. We might end up
Freaky
divorced,
Friday
but hey,
moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Celebrity crush.
Well, can it be my celebrity crush from when I was like
Yes.
12 years old?
Yes.
Lee Majors from the $6 Million Man.
Okay.
Nighttime or daytime?
Oh, right now I'd probably go with nighttime. That's my downtime, my relaxation time.
Tent, RV, cabin, or hotel?
Yes. Oh,
She's just down
that's
for
the first
travel.
answer.
Yeah.
That's
She's just down for the travel.
I enjoy it. I will say I'm not okay. If it's a tent, it has to be a glamping tent. I don't do that cot or sleeping bag on the ground thing.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that. No, I've earned my
I've earned my
glam-
comfort.
my glamping tent. Yes.
Dream vacation destination?
Ooh, dream vacation destination. I would want to go back and explore more of Italy. When we went there, we stayed in Rome, and we were 2 weeks in Rome. I would want to go back and just do the entire thing. Yeah. We considered moving there.
A person you admire and look up to?
My dad. Yeah.
A game show you think you could go on and win?
Probably The Price is Right.
Two people you think
don't
should
know,
also
honestly.
be on this show? Harley, take notes.
I know, right? Can someone
Man,
clip this for me?
If I had to pick two for like if it was like for gaming, would be two young
people.
ladies that I watched their stream is Lunari BB and Rachel Darling Endeavors. I think that's the full name. If you need the one of them has a hyphen in it, I just gotta figure out where. And if it was food and drink, John Leung for sure. He's squirrels, but he's funny and he's vivacious and he loves what he does, and he was on MasterChef Canada. Who else do I have on here? I gave you three. That
Yeah.
probably, very high energy. I just love him. I just love him.
And with that, Kanara, it is time to wrap up. Do you have any last thoughts, things you want to say to stream, anything you want to promote when it comes?
I didn't say any last words.
No, we're not that
Because
kind
then
of
I'm gonna be
group
like, what's coming next? And start watching behind me here. Thank goodness the camera. I can see if anybody walks up behind me. Do you have any last words, Kanara?
Let's think of it more of like Master Yoda and like, hey Kanara, do you have any words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Or
Give us
anything,
your
or
Kanara
anything,
take.
or anything you want to talk about that's important to you currently, that's going on, that you feel like other people should know about.
We are still pushing the food and drink community for, getting our own club and getting that going. But I think the biggest thing, I'd like to recommend to tell people is don't be afraid of the kitchen. Don't be afraid to cook something. Don't be afraid to try a new recipe. Food for us is a legacy. And I've talked about this numerous times. It's a legacy that we used to pass on back in the day on little tiny 3x5 cards. You've got the coveted recipe for the spaghetti sauce. And you just felt like you were the shiz, man. You put that thing in there, you lock that thing away in a cabinet. But now we have this wonderful, Twitch platform, YouTube, Instagram, all of that. Not for canning necessarily, unless it's me, I'll teach you right. But for food. And when we think about this, when you get that job promotion, what do? You go out for dinner and you celebrate with food, right? You have a death in the family, you mourn together. And food is centric in that. Food creates, and this is tattooed on my arm, food creates the memories that feed us. Every memory that you have in some way is attached to food. New job, moving to a new location, you find the cool spots you want to go eat at, traveling adventures. Oh my gosh, remember when we had, like Dana and Robbie just got back from Italy. Remember that pasta carbonara we had? Oh, that was so good. And you're instantly taken back to that small little restaurant, in Italy or whatever. And it's to get out there and play with food. Share your recipes. Don't be a person who doesn't share your recipes. Any recipe I have, I took a blue ribbon prize on my barbecue rub, my dry rub. I share it with everybody. I don't care. I've got a wonderful rotisserie chicken rub. I share it with everybody. Because if you don't, what's going to happen? Your recipes are going to end up in a box, sitting on somebody's shelf, where nobody looks at them anymore. But if you share them with other people and somebody's excited to have that recipe that you gave them, and they may give you credit, they may not. Anybody's recipes that I've used, I give them credit for, because that's just, hey, I got this recipe from so-and-so, and oh, it was fantastic, or such and such recommended this. But enjoy your food. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm turning this off. I'm telling you something right now. You go out to eat with your friends, you go out to eat with your family, you put this away. You don't just turn it upside down, because if it's right side up, I now know that you're waiting for something more important there than hanging out with me and having a meal together, okay? So but then we get the people like, I'm going to turn it upside down. I can't see the screen. But it's still more important to you than me, because you've got it right there to where you can just quickly check it. Put it in your purse, turn it off, leave it in your car. I don't care, because those memories that you were making with your family and your friends over a meal that you're sharing together, and those experiences, this is not going to replace it. Your LOLs in a text message or whatever. I get on a high horse about this. You can tell. Your LOLs in a text message or yeah, let's hang out later. None of those are going to be as important as that moment in time when you smelled the steak come or the bread or where you all laughed because John dropped a glass of water and it flooded the table, but it didn't get into anybody's food. Or those stories and those memories, that's what's going to sustain you later on when you start to get to my age. Put the phone away. Turn it off, turn it down, but put it away. There is nothing so important as those people you're with. Enjoy that time.
And with that, I think we are ready to conclude unless the audience has any other questions before we wrap up. Anything else? I'll give them 1 minute.
Yeah, I get on that tangent, Pook. It's just, it's a big thing for me. And I see it all the time. I've watched families sit there and all the kids are on a phone playing a game and their cousins, they're not even talking to each other. They're all on a phone playing a game. Look at the progression of playgrounds. Look at the playgrounds from the 1930s and the 1940s where they had like baseball fields. You know, we've all seen Sandlot where the kids go out and play baseball and whatnot. And you had kids playing all over on all the swings and the monkey bars, the little thing that spun you around that they won't let you put on playgrounds now because kids get hurt. I was spun at a Mach 4 velocity and I'm fine, I think. But you look at the playgrounds now, go to a playground, they're empty. Because everybody's at home and they're on their phones and whatever else. Put the phones away. It's the best thing you will do for your mental health. And then you don't get tech neck either, which tech neck is your head hanging down, you're putting weight on your vertebrae. But if I had one advice to everybody, it'd be put your phones at every single meal, put your phones away. Sit down and have family dinners. Don't just sit with food on your lap. Sit at the table. Or if you don't have a table, sit on the couch together. But be with the people that you're meant to be with. Just do it. I told you to. Don't make me use the mom voice. Too late.
That was solid advice.
I love that, Pook.
Kids have technology right now.
Harley's gonna clip this part and be like, kids, watch this right now.
Oh yeah. Don't think I won't. But they also know the importance of like my grandma's birthday being on Sunday. It's her 80th birthday. You're gonna put the technology down. We're gonna have lunch together. But then we're gonna play a board game. We're gonna play Farkle. We're gonna play something where we all participate.
Oh, don't even get Harley or I started on that game. Listen.
I still play it in my family. It's like every time we get together, we now play Farkle because of shared experiences of Flair and I.
It's cutthroat. Yeah. It's cutthroat. It
is so cutthroat. You never want to play Farkle with us on a Friday night. It's so bad.
But we're gonna wrap things up. So first, I want to thank Kanara for the 5 gifted to the channel, and
you're very welcome.
And Athena for the follow, and all the people. When we go to the leaving screen, I think it's all gonna be listed, and if it's not, trust me, after the fact, I will go back into the Discord. Which, if you're not a part of the Discord and you want to be a part of the Discord, send me a message. I will let you in.
What? I just did exclamation point Discord for no reason?
Nope. The reason why I didn't do that is because back.
Are you looking for something? Or someone?
No, I was... What was I doing?
How would I know?
Our first fight.
Is because back when I first had the command, it was when all those raid bots and hate bots and things like that were going around Twitch, and so I had to take it off, and I've never put it back. So eventually it will go back, but that's why it wasn't there this time.
Put it back on just for your mods to use. That only your mods can use it.
Yeah.
Hi, mod here.
And my sister, which I think is in bed now because it's 10 o'clock and I know how she is.
Hey, I would like to let you know that I have to leave my house at 6:50 tomorrow, and I am still awake.
Mm-hmm.
I want that notated.
Mm-hmm. But I want to thank everyone.
Let the records reflect.
Yep. But I want to thank everyone from Kanara's community who came around for the show, and thank you all for sticking around through all of this. And hopefully y'all come back for a little bit more fun.
This has been fun.
And I do know that we will have another episode this season, probably in the next month or so. He's still telling me a date, but I do know, and it will be Tanner Boo. He was supposed to be in season 1, and then a hurricane happened. Like legit.
Now we get
That'll do it. That's a good excuse, though.
Yeah.
I'll take that excuse.
we get a second chance.
Yeah. So we'll be back.
The dog ate my computer.
Nope. Nope. So we'll be back for that. But like I said, regularly on Mondays, I tend to stream. Who knows what I'll feel like streaming next Monday and stuff like that. And obviously, I'll be around in Kanara stream. So if you want to talk and all that stuff, I'm also there. Harley also streams.
Also hit that little follow heart right now.
Yeah.
Right down there. It's a little follow heart. Just click it.
And it's free.
Just do it.
It is free.
That's the F word we like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Harley streams, so if you're not following her, do so, because she has no schedule. She just decides when she wants to do it, and she does it. So
Let's be real here. I work in healthcare and see a lot of people on a daily basis. It's when I have the most energy to have a face and have an
Sometimes
appearance.
you just want to just downtime when you get home. It's like, I just want everything just quiet type thing. So yeah, I totally get that.
Especially when you come home to teenage girls.
With that, I think I'll put on my official Frank Sinatra voice real quick while Kanara is thinking about who we're gonna raid since she's the guest. And now, the end is near.
Who's on?
And so I face the final curtain.
See this. I'm gonna make him sing
No
the whole
pressure.
My
song.
friends, I'll say it clear. I'll state my
Okay, this
case,
parade. Wait, let me see how long she's been on.
of which I'm certain. I've planned each charted course.
Yeah, let's raid Pocket Ninja.
You want to put it in
Pocket
the chat,
Ninja
and
it
I'll copy it. Each careful step
Yep. Oop. And
along the
control
highway,
C. Look at me doing it.
and more.
Look at me doing it.
Much
And
more
there's
than
golden
this.
flare.
I did
and
it
B. There you go.
my way.
Love it.
All right, we're gonna raid Pocket Ninja. Okay, and we're gonna do /raid, and we're going. All right, so I'm gonna hit the
Raiders, hold
goodbye
hands.
screen. Everyone, hold hands. We're all gonna go in there together and say hi.
Raiders
And
hold hands.
thank you all again for all the bits and gifts
Do you
and
have a raid call out?
follows and everything. I don't have an official message. I do not have an official
What?
message.
Does all this incredible technology stuff. Builds all these overlays, all this wonderful cool stuff. Raid message. Wah, 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 wah.
So we're gonna do that, and I hope to see you all next Monday when I'm streaming. And if not, I will see you when Kanara's next cooking stream is.
Yes. Take care, everyone.
Unless you're doing Feral
Thank you,
Friday tomorrow.
everybody. I am doing Feral Friday tomorrow.
Oh, then I'll
But I
see
don't
you
know-
all
I don't know
tomorrow.
what I'm doing.
Yeah. So then I'll see you tomorrow. We'll all see what Kanara's doing tomorrow.
Who knows? Who knows?
Here we go.